The Ramble Football Club is proudly sponsored by Glasby Pallets, offering a one-stop solution for all of your pallet needs. Get in touch now on 01709 585 646 to discuss your pallet requirements. And thank you again to Sonny and the team for their continued support of Ramble FC.
Good evening and welcome to this Championship Watchalong, another game live under the lights on a Friday night, and it's two teams that are looking to hunt down those playoff places. So Bristol City, who have been a bit busy in the transfer market lately, against Derby County, who aren't a million miles away from that top six as well. I won't be alone tonight in calling the game and just having a bit of a football chat and talking through the action from Ashton Gate. I'm going to be joined by a very special guest, a Platinum Rambler, and not just any Platinum Rambler. He is something of a Ramble on the Road legend. In fact, his Scran reviews are something that even Gordon Ramsay would nod at in approval. I can see him laughing away in the background. Without any further ado, let's bring in the face of the Bramall Lane Hilton. It's Jamie Dumpling. How you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm honoured. That was best opening I've had ever, really. Honestly, you've already beaten Jimmy's intros.
Oh, he'll be in the comments with that. He'll be in the comments with that, mate. Is he never given you a special intro? He must have. He must have.
He's given them some of them, but not as that. I've been called a legend, Hilton legend, let alone Ramble on the Road and all that. Something else.
Well, I'm very pleased you can join me, mate. Thank you for coming along to watch the game with me. I'm just looking at the teams up on the screen now, but also the league table. Bristol City currently sat in 7th, 43 points. They are a point off the playoffs. Derby on 42 points in 11th, only 2 points off the playoffs. So just shows you how tight it is, doesn't it, behind that top six? What do you make of it so far? And do you think these two teams have got a chance to make it?
It's looking like it's starting to get, well, the table's starting to take a bit of a shape now. Obviously, it's now showing the bottom half of the table where you're getting teams like Leicester, Southampton. They've obviously underperformed. Even teams like West Brom that should have been in amongst them, where it's now let teams like Hull, Millwall, all them sort of take the 4th and 5th place teams and taking nothing away from either of them teams, especially Hull with their embargoes. They've had an absolutely brilliant season, where they've just managed to take that next step, especially Millwall, because they were pushing for it and they just missed out on the last day of last season. But it looks like that 4th and 5th spot, obviously top 3 is pretty much guaranteed already, depending on the order, we don't know yet. But the 4th and 5th spot, that is probably going to be Hull and Millwall, because they seem to be making a bit more of a gap. So it's just interesting to see who can probably sneak into that. One thing that is interesting is, despite Derby being mid-table, they've got one of the best away records this season. So if it was at Derby, because they have one of the poorer home records, I'd probably back Bristol City tonight. But because of the away record of Derby, I think it can throw a massive spanner into the works, especially if they can recreate the away form into home form, not just for tonight, but for the overall league as it stands.
I knew you'd bring some knowledge with you, Jamie. This is why I thought it was a good idea for us to do this. And I was watching Derby last Friday with Russ on the last watch along I did, and they're very defensively solid team. And with John Eustace, you would kind of expect them to play that way. They're playing a bit of the mid block. They're not so adventurous. They've got some good players. They're solid. I like John Eustace as a manager. But I felt last Friday, that draw against West Brom, they were 1-0 up in that game, and I thought they really could have gone after it and put West Brom to bed. And they just didn't show enough adventure. And in the end, I think it bit them with Mepham scoring very late. But I've just got the team news up on the bottom of the screen as well. So obviously Derby with players we know very well, mate, but Ryan Brewster, Brereton Diaz, flanking Patrick Adjumang, who scored last week in that game and has been a bit of a bright spark for Derby this season. Looking at Bristol City's team, most of their, well, I think all of their new signings are on the bench. I think we were talking about this beforehand. with Bergzorg and Morsey and George Earthy and a young lad they signed from Man City whose name just escapes me at this moment in time. He was signed yesterday. All four of them on the bench. A pretty standard looking lineup for Bristol City, but again with some players like Scott Twine in the side who offers a threat.
Naylor.
Yeah, and Naylor, thank you very much, and Emil Rees Jacobson up top. What do you think of Gerhard Struber as a manager? He's just come up on the screen. He's having his pre-match interview. Jamie, obviously, he was manager of Barnsley at one time, did a pretty good job there. He does well. He makes this is a Chris Wilderism, but he does turn an half pint into a pint, doesn't he?
Yeah, obviously they had a really good season last year. Bristol City, it did end not great for them with them losing 6-0 to Sheffield United, which I won't be too fond of, but it was still a good season overall to get into that playoff position, which was a tough battle. And with them losing Liam Manning, there were a few questions whether they could keep it going, whether they keep a few players. Obviously, Mehmeti is going to be that bright spark, and he's now gone to Ipswich, which will be a big blow to them. But Struve was a good manager. He's done really well to just keep them going on that project. Yes, it may not be as high up in the table, but it's a long season. The table is very close at the minute. So if they win tonight, they could probably shut up a few places anyways. And he's got a track record of getting teams higher up in the places. And he's done well. He's done really well, considering the fact that I don't know whether he made some of the signings, but you look at players like Vitek, who's on loan from Man United. Been a brilliant signing. And to be fair, I think a couple of Man United fans did recall him when before they got in. Lensman, is it? The current keeper. But again, Jacobson, good signing from Preston this summer. So they've got a good team, but I think it's just the fact they managed to keep on going with that momentum, even with potentially Mehmeti dropping out. They've still got players like Scott Twine, who apparently isn't great off the ball, to be fair. They've got players like Max Bird, who is injured. So whilst got a couple of dodgy places, it's still a solid team.
I think so, and I think Delano Bergzorg, although he can blow a bit hot and cold, I think he's an astute signing for them. He's someone that he can play up top, but he often comes in off that left-hand side and possibly is the one they've identified in the short term to replace Mehmeti as well. As I say, he's on the bench tonight, just showing Scott Twine scoring a nice goal there, I think against Southampton for Bristol City. But they've got some threats, Bristol City. They are a pretty well-managed club, it would seem. They're run pretty sustainably by the owner, Steve Lansdowne. And I looked at their bench earlier because typically they operate on a very tight budget. They operate with a fairly small squad compared to other teams that are competing up around that top third of the table. So they do tend to punch above their weight, but they have added some depth with those signings. I looked at the bench tonight and I thought, interesting. They look like they've got a little bit more in behind that first 11, which is something I've not seen much with them in the past. But I'm just going to dive into some comments, mate, and I'll share this duty with you this evening, but I'll just get us started. So Peak is the first with Evening Lewis and Jamie. As it happens, I've got absolutely nothing to do or watch tonight, so I'll be joining you, and I'm grateful you were doing this. Well, we're pleased to provide a public service, Peak. Hopefully it will keep you entertained on this Friday night. Dave Morwood says, I'm looking forward to this Batman and Dumpling on stream together. No doubt you'll smash it, guys. Thank you, mate. Up all the rambles, up the blades, up the positive six. Like and subscribe, please. It's free and it helps this great channel grow. It certainly does, mate. And it helps the ramble as a whole, not just Ramble FC. Jamie, do you want to take this next one from Meldrew, your friend and mine?
Yeah, well, he's put down Evening Mark, by the way. Forget Chuckle Brothers, it's Batman and Dumpling. Proper upgrade that. By the way, just on the stream tonight, just a note to anyone watching, if you are wanting to prefer to have a ad-free experience, which I'd imagine would be a few, and you're on Ramble FC currently, if you go to Behind the Ramble, you get the exact same stream, but it's ad-free. So that's just a recommendation if anyone's wanting it.
Top man, you're doing my job for me. I think you'll be upgrading to you soon. Ian's in the chat. You want to take this one as well, mate? Sorry.
Yeah, evening, boys. Looking forward to this. Hoping Jamie has got all his props ready for the halftime tactical analysis. We're in score, going 2-all up all the rambles. Yeah, Ian, that's a platinum exclusive. So unless you're a platinum rambler, you ain't gonna see them. And they're all nice treat once in a blue moon. But it is the location I usually do it in, weirdly. But I feel like Ryan could have a good game because these with them usually getting their fullbacks quite high up or wing backs, Bristol City being, it'll leave quite a few gaps, I imagine. So potentially could have a good game. And last time Brewster played at Ashton Gate, I think it was right wing for Sheffield United. So, and he had a decent game. I personally remember going, check out the ramble on the road for that one. But yeah, he played decently well. And then Derby County picked up and seems to have continued that decent form.
Well, it's an interesting observation that you made, mate, about the wing backs, and partly because Derby quite often, and I'm going to check the lineup and what's been predicted as the formation here. They tend to quite often play either with three up top or in a 4-2-3-1. Now it looks tonight like Clark's in there in the 10, so it looks like it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. That's what's been guessed as the formation. And Brewster and Brereton Diaz, though, in either formation, are really, strictly speaking, they're forwards, so they're going to stay high up the pitch. And if Bristol City are going to leave any gaps behind those wing backs, with that back three that they're playing with, that could get exposed at some point. And like you say, Derby, they're a good away team. They like to contain and counter-attack. Should be interesting. We've got Big Tony in the chat. Now then, lads. Nice to see you, Tony. Thanks, mate. Lads, hope you have a good show. I'm just off to work role. On Millwall tomorrow. All right, so it looks like he's going to Millwall. All the Millwall fans will have to behave themselves. Big Tony's in town. Jimmy's in the chat. Yes, lads.
Evening.
Thank you, mate. Do you want to take this one from Harry, Jamie?
Yeah. Evening, lads. Hope we're all okay. Jamie looking very professional with the mic. This is always in news. You never see it because the webcam's never high enough. What is score prediction for tomorrow? Up the Blades, up behind the ramble? I'm going... I think if I'm trying to stay positive, obviously we're missing quite a few players, but we cope well and Binden's back tomorrow. I think we might be able to get 1-0, but it's going to be hard. So I think if we get something, I think it'll be late on.
Yeah, I do, mate. I think it's going to be a tough game. I've watched quite a bit of Millwall this season because obviously, and a bit of a plug here. All Aboard the Championship is a stream that me and Man Mountain do on a Tuesday night at 8:00. So look out for that. Anyone that's watching, if you're a fan of a Championship club, you'd certainly be interested in it. I've watched a lot of Millwall, as I have a lot of the Championship sides. They're a good side, mate. I mean, there's sometimes talk of this division being a bit average and the teams not being that good. I think Hull and Millwall are decent sides, and they're having good seasons because they're decent sides. The league table doesn't lie. Millwall are, and the manager talked about it today. Our manager spoke of how honest they are, how hardworking they are, and they're putting it together as well, and they can play a bit of football. So it's going to be a tough test for us. It's traditionally a difficult place to go, but put our best foot forward. We know what our lads are capable of as well, Jamie. So if they turn up and have a good day and they're really on it, it'll be a very interesting game. I think it'll be tight. I predicted a draw, but we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. But the man in black, Gaz Dunn, is joined us. Hello, mate. Nice to see you. Smashing it, gents. Absolutely gleaming this. See you soon. Up the Blades, up the ramble. Yeah, I'm going to be joining Gaz for QPR away at the end of next month. I know that by then, and we'll talk about this more a little bit later, you'll be in a land down under, won't you, mate? Sunning yourself and enjoying life. So I would imagine that if that wasn't the case, you'd have been on the train with us to London, but we'll have lots more opportunities further down the line. And Matt Costello says, no dumpling, no ramble. Absolutely. No dumpling, no party. Have a blast down under, Jamie, legend of the ramble. He is a legend of the ramble. He even has people asking him for a photo with their daughter outside the Hilton. That's how famous Jamie Dumpling is now. He's taken on a life of his own. He supersedes the ramble almost. Do you want to take this one from the man in black? He's back in the comments, Jamie.
I will do. Just before that, though, it's just showing Derby County's away record that I was on about earlier. They've got the second best points record in the league away from home. Got the most joint tied for wins. I think I've just lost the rest of that. But either way, they're good away from home, so it really could throw a span. As I said, it could really throw a mixer into the game. Back to Gaz's comment. Enjoy yours, mate. No, 6th of May to 22nd May, so May see you there. You won't, because I'll leave on the 3rd. So you could have gotten much closer, Gaz, which is a shame, but enjoy yourself. I'll let you know how it is if I see all I can recommend area-wise or anything.
Perfect, and it's a big area, so there's a lot you can tell him about. That's for sure. Do you want to take this one from David Vinter?
Yeah, that might's as big as yeah, Jamie. Cheers, David. I predict 2-0 tomorrow, then top sixes on up the Blaze. Bit positive from you, but wherever floats your boat, I won't knock you down.
And we got a comment from our mate Scott from the Platts. Love Jamie Dumpling, top lad. Hope you have a fantastic time in Kangaroo Land. Have you ever had, here's a question, Jamie, a random question for the watch along. Have you ever had a kangaroo burger before? I bet you have, haven't you?
I've heard of people having kangaroo as like a nice meal, weirdly, but I've never heard of it being a burger. So
it's delicious. I felt harsh though because I like kangaroos. They're quite quite a nice creature, aren't they? And but it's delicious. I recommend if you're a meat eater, you try it. It's not for everyone, obviously.
One for the list.
And so the players are warming up now. We've got Brereton Diaz there, obviously a player that we know very well. And looking at Scott Twine now, it will be interesting. This, like you say, with the formation that Bristol City playing and the way that those wing backs get forward, it could leave some gaps, as you say. It was a good observation. You mentioned Vitek earlier as well, the goalkeeper. They've raved about him this season to me. I know a lot of Bristol City fans, and he's been excellent. He's been a real upgrade on Max O'Leary, who interestingly played for Derby last week on the Friday at his debut, made a big mistake I say Derby. He plays for West Brom. He made his debut for West Brom. Sorry, before I get fact checked in the comments, made a mistake to let Ajamang in to score. And not playing tonight. Now, I've not checked. I don't know if that's anything to do with the fact that he's a former Bristol City player and there was some sort of agreement struck. Would hope not. Or whether he's just been dropped because of his mistake. Didn't do a great deal else wrong in the game.
The usual Derby County keeper is Zetterstrom. And he did play last time out. I think from the sounds of it, he's missed a game every now and then due to illness. So potentially that's what come up again, because there's nothing. I'm only going off FotMob. There's nothing about him being injured. So potentially, again, he may be ill, but potentially Derby County fans in the comments. So could let us know, please.
No, that's what I was saying. I was mistakenly calling him a Derby County goalkeeper. He's actually at West Brom because I remembered him in that game last week. So it's my mistake, mate. To be honest with you, in the Derby goal tonight though is it's not Zetterstrom, is it? You're right, and I didn't pick up on that. It is. I think it was O'Donnell.
Yeah, O'Donnell.
So that is interesting. Yes, I remember this now because we had a chat. We had a conversation, which Jimmy was involved with in the chat last week, about who Derby's number one was, and we were both of the mind that it was Zetterstrom. We had a Derby fan in the chat last week, who I hope might turn up tonight, Paul. He gave us a little bit of intel on Derby and confirmed that Zetterstrom is indeed their number one. We got another comment here from Jim as well. Tell you what, boys, looking dapper tonight. Yes. So Jamie is wearing a. Is that a Ramble shirt as well, mate? You've got a Ramble t-shirt.
My Mountain designed this one. Honestly,
nice.
It's nice. It's nice. Honestly, I thought it might be a bit cheap and knackered when it arrived, but it's nice. So not bad quality design. If anyone is wanting to buy one of them, and I'm not paid to say this or anything. This is honest thoughts.
Well, there's lots of it out there because also today, and I waited quite a while for this. There was some shipping issues, but I got a Blades Ramble hoodie which arrived today. It's lovely. It's very good quality. It's very warm. It was nicely priced as well. So there's some good Ramble merch to get your hands on. I ordered it at the worst possible time, mate, right before Christmas when everyone was complaining of shipping issues. But it did eventually turn up, and it was worth the money. So I'm very pleased with it. So yeah, you can get your Ramble merch if you go on YouTube and look in the visit the YouTube channels, it'll take you. There'll be a merch page in there that you can find and pick up some nice wares from the Ramble, hoodies and t-shirts and all sorts of different things.
Just adding to that, Lewis, there's also the Amazon page. I believe that's where I got this one from. So if you just type in Blades Ramble, you can find it on there. I think there's 2 store pages. They're both official. But yeah, you can find it on there as well.
Absolutely. Nice one, mate. And we've got Big T in the chat again. You just said a lot are going to QPR. Where's my invite? Well, we assumed you'd be there, Big T. You go to pretty much every single away game. So I'd made that assumption. But let us know how you're getting down there, mate. I think Rich Carrington's taking a minibus or a coach or something like that. He's taking some Ramblers on. So see if we can get you in one of those seats. And we've got Harry. Who do you guys think the best transfer of the window has been so far in the Championship? And what positions do you think we need the most now? I honestly think we're fine for a midfielder and centre-back. So I'm assuming this is Harry, a Sheffield United supporter. So I think the first question, I'll throw it over to you, Jamie. The first question is, who do we think the best transfer has been in this window so far in the whole of the Championship? That's a good question.
Come back to me. I need to have a look who's been, because I've not kept up fully. There's been that many, and your shorts as well, but there's been that many I've actually lost track.
Well, who do you think? So he's also asked, what positions do you think we need the most now? So I honestly think we're fine for a midfielder and a centre back. I mean, I suppose what's the biggest, if the Blades can sign anyone, Jamie, before the window closes, what's the position you would most like to strengthen? And is there any player in mind for that from your point of view?
I understand the argument for centre-back, but at the same time, last season, we had 3 centre-halves at most at one time. We've currently got 4. So I get the quality isn't great, but if you've got McGuinness, who isn't great, but in front of him, you've got Ben Mee, who's a solid backup. And then from there, you've also got Bindon, who's a good Championship player, what we need probably at the minute, and Tanganga, who's one of the best centre-halves in the league, who could probably take that step up. So probably from midfielder, maybe, just because of the drop-off from Gyro. If Tom Davis isn't fit, which is rare when he is fit, there's no actual like-for-like signing, which is why I wanted Chowdhury. So that's probably sort of a deep play midfielder I'd want. Either that or maybe a winger. It just depends, because you've got 5 wingers currently. So where do you fit them in? We've got 2 bloated of a squad where we've not got the actual quality with players like Ogbeni and Chong. Because before them, you've got Brooks, who's brilliant on his day being the key part, and Aware, player of the season, and Gosema when he's on it. So it's a balanced night, really, of trying to keep everyone happy.
It is, mate. And we have got a bloated squad. You're right, and really part of the or one of the biggest priorities for me, like Chris Wilder said, was to try and slim the squad down and not make that squad so bloated and not have many 2 players around the periphery, because I don't think it helps. To answer both of Harry's questions, though, from my own point of view, best transfer in the Championship so far, the one that springs to mind is Dan Neil to Ipswich. I think he's a great addition for them and strengthens the middle of the park. They're already a very strong side, Ipswich, and I think he just he further enhances the options they've got in the middle and will be, I think, a real big help to them in trying to get back into the Premier League this season. Touching on a second question, which you mentioned here, with all the lads coming back, just a winger for me. I think I'd probably agree, Harry. If I could have one player personally, I'd have a winger. Now, I'd take note of Jamie's comments. We have got a bloated squad. We've got, possibly too many numbers in certain positions. But the one player that's really impressed me that I think would be attainable for us, and he has been linked, is Cleary at Barnsley. If we could sign him before the window closes, I'd take that. But there is interest from elsewhere. Darren says, good evening, gentlemen and Jamie. Gentlemen and Jamie. Maybe you're not a gentleman, Jamie. Maybe you'll be upgraded at some point during this stream. And a bit of professionalism after watching Jim on the cold off the presser this morning. Ooh, Darren's left one on Jamie and on Jimmy there. you've left one, Darren, on
You've come out lucky there. You've had nothing.
The two gentlemen that are Ramble royalty. But the fact that you referred to me as a gentleman, I'll take that. I'll take the praise, and Jamie and Jimmy can make do. But
I've got your answer, by the way, for sign of the window, is it, or for the championship? So it was originally going to be Anis Mehmeti. I think just because of the price tag being $2.5 million for 3 years, obviously right contract, but it's a good signing. But I think Harry and Mass, for what Norwich need, with them potentially trying to climb that table very quickly, like they are at the minute, I think he could be a game changer. I did rate him before he went out on loan to Wednesday. From the bits I saw of the clips of him at Man United's academy, and he did look very promising. And obviously he's kicked on from there at Wednesday, even with the bad season they've had. And I think a player of that quality, I think he could be a real game changer for them.
I agree, mate. And I think there's some clever business there to add depth and rotations to the squad at a time in the season where it gets difficult as well, where games are still coming thick and fast, and there's wear and tear on players, and you're getting towards the business end of things where it gets tense as well, and teams start to play a slightly different way when they're protecting results or protecting a lead in a game. It's going to be interesting, but I'll just try and I'll let you take these, Jamie. I'm just going to try and get to the end of the comments before the game starts because the players are in the tunnel at the moment. Harry asks a question at the end here, and I'll let you read this out and be the first one to answer it as well.
Don't know much about Cleary, to be honest, but seems exciting by the sounds of it. What do you reckon is a fair price for him? Going off Burrows, I know they're slightly different players because one's more of an attacker. I think we paid $2.5 million for your Burrows. Mm-hmm. So you'd probably look at about $3.5 million, just because as well, Barnsley will probably put the price up just slightly for us, with them being a local side, a bit like how Forest do when they want to be a bit dodgy. I haven't seen that much of Cleary myself either, but the one game I did see of him was versus Liverpool, and he was man of the match, I think, Alan McCoy's Kevin, which I agree with as much stick as he did get off quite a few Liverpool fans, but he did have an absolute blinder. He had Jeremy Frimpong on strings.
He did. He had a terrific game, and he got some plaudits for it. And I think it probably is. I've heard different things, but I've heard maybe 2 to 4 million, which seems quite a broad valuation. But somewhere in that region, I think would be fair for him. He looks like a player of some potential, and coming into the Championship where he seems like he probably could make the step up, I think that's a decent price for him. I don't know his contract situation, Jamie, to be honest with you, how long he's got on that. That tends to have a big bearing over their valuation, doesn't it?
I'll have a look now, because I imagine with him being quite young, it might be about a 3-year contract.
Yeah. Just while you're doing that, I'm just looking at the Derby team. So, back four is Ward, Sanderson, Clark and Elder, which seems to be a pretty standard setup for them when they do play in a back four. It is going to be a really interesting game, this. And Bristol City, Ashton Gate can be a difficult place to go. For a lot of teams, it's quite a long journey. And for a lot of supporters, it's quite a long journey. They tend to put the away fans up in the top tier as well, a little bit away from the pitch. But they're a good club, Bristol City, I have to say, and they've got family and friends that support them. I would love to see them at some point have an opportunity to get in the Premier League and maybe just spend at least a season or two there, because they've been in the top flight before, but they've never been in the Premier League as it stands now, and I know that they long for it. So it'd be good to see them get there, as long as they don't get there before the Blades, of course. I think both these teams, though, got a chance going into the back end of the season. Be interested to see if Derby do any more, any business between now and the end of the window as well, Jamie. They seem to be one that's pretty sustainably run nowadays. They don't go crazy, going out spending loads of money, but
I think their owner is a Derby fan, so it will help a lot. To answer your Cleary question, he only just signed this season, and he's got a 3-year contract plus another option for a year. So Barnsley will be in no rush to sell him. His price tag will only go up. They bought him from West Brom quite cheap. In fact, it was. How much did they pay for him? Doesn't even sound here, but his value was at about 150k. Whether they paid that or not, I don't know. But he was, say the least, he was really undervalued by West Brom. They'll probably be quite annoyed they've sold him and probably thinking we could have had him, especially with their form at the minute.
Yeah, that's right. And they could do with players like that in a minute. I mean, they've got, again, West Brom, they've got some players at the top of the pitch that can do damage, like Mikey Johnson and Johnston and Hegerber. But the problem is when you're in the situation they're in, you can't afford for anybody to pick up an injury or a suspension. You need your best players fit all the time. And it's about what depth you've got in behind it. I think West Brom are in real trouble, to be honest. But that late equaliser last week could ignite their season. We'll see. Game's about to get underway here. So we've got Gary Weaver and Andy Hinchcliffe on commentary, which again, pretty standard duo for these championship games. I think they did the game last week between Derby and West Brom.
One thing I will notice is, well, two things actually. One, I think Bristol City have some of the worst angles for the camera, especially just that free flowing one, just in the absolute heavens. But the second thing is they had two players on kickoff, bit like the old style that we never see anymore for some reason. Bit of an interesting one on that kickoff style. It's not worked. It's just interesting to notice the fact that they've got two players to next to each other when kicking off.
Yeah, and you see these weird kickoff styles. Like PSG had one last season, didn't they, where they launched it into the corner from kickoff to just try and get the ball up the pitch, gain some territory. So different things coming in, like set pieces this season in the Premier League have become suddenly all important, and long throws. A lot of teams trying to make use of them. But yeah, just pretty steady start here from Bristol City, just playing the ball along the back. Vitek's got it now, and takes a long kick forward, and that just goes over the top of Sanderson, and Ward at right back is going to nod that back to the Derby goalkeeper. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I agree with you on the camera angle, mate. I've picked this up with to my brother-in-law, who may or may not be watching tonight. He said he might pick up the watch along. Big Bristol City supporter, and I told him the only thing I really hate about Ashton Gate is that camera angle, looking down from the big stand. It's just horrible. When I was younger, before West Ham moved to their current stadium, when they were at Upton Park, they had a similar camera angle like this for a while.
Right.
And it's a horrible way to watch a game of football. It's like playing FIFA on the worst camera setting. When you used to try it and you used to think after 2 minutes, no, this is rubbish, I'll go back to a closer view.
Yeah. It's just one of them, like, it's high. Well, it has the word high in it, and you just think, nah. Yeah. Derby coming in here, Bobby Clark just has it. They're sitting back, but someone has a shot. You can't tell the numbers from here because it's that high up. But they are sitting quite deep, Bristol City, and then just looking like they do want to hit teams on the counter. So I think it could be quite a lot of goals tonight. I will provide some statistics, though, on that regarding sort of the goal situation. So what have we got? So for Bristol City, they have scored 7 goals in the last 5. They've got the most clean sheets in the Championship this season with 11. Sinclair Armstrong, who is on the bench tonight, interestingly, is the most shots on target per match in 1.3. I know Jakobsen, he's been a good player this season, but I think Armstrong's taken a bit more of a... he's stepped up a bit considering where we were last season, where a lot of Bristol City fans, they were quite disappointed with him from the sounds of it. But I think he has stepped up quite a bit, even though you can see, even last season, in Spurs, who is a good player. But for the Derby County end, they've scored 6 in the last 5. They have conceded the most penalties this season in 4. So they are quite aggressive on it, even in the penalty box. And they're ranked 3rd away from home. I think it was saying on Sky, though, they're ranked 2nd. So yeah, I'm really interested because both teams like to score. But again, as I said, Bristol City got a lot of clean sheets.
See, if you watch Sky, folks, you don't get this kind of cutting edge reporting and data that Jamie brings you. That's why you're here. That's why you're watching the Watchalong on Ramble FC and on Behind the Ramble, which, as Jamie pointed out, if you go over there, it's ad free. But Bristol City have got a corner now. Just won a corner a moment ago. That's floated in. And they do get on the end of it. So there's a header from Dickey, but it's just over the bar. Well, I say just over the bar. It's quite far over the bar on reflection. But nicely, he's sort of drilled that corner in, didn't he? And yeah, it's just rising all the time, that corner. And then Dickey manages to get his head on the end of it, but he's a bit unsighted by the Derby defender, and it goes over.
It did seem to go through quite a lot of bodies as well. It just seemed to glide through that. It weren't just like clearly taken. We were like he'd try and just hit it with a bit of curve from with the outside foot, a bit like Roberto Carlos used to hit them free kicks, but obviously not with as much power behind it.
Yeah, and he's just Bristol City trying to clear the ball there, so it's broken down just inside Bristol City's half. So Ward's got it. Sanderson now with the ball. He plays it across to Elder at left back, who looks like he's going to knock that forward. He does. So he digs one into the channel for Patrick Agyemang, who eventually, I think there was offside. He was. The linesman's got his flag up. I don't think anyone was quite sure. Then even the Bristol City defenders were looking around, saying, are we actually going to get a flag here? I'd like to see this again. Yeah, I think he is. I think he's just offside by a touch there.
It were interesting on the replay because even though they're playing the far of the back, you would have thought they had a full flat back four there, and no one marking Agyemang. So just interested to see the fact that where that fifth defender would have typically been, whether potentially it's because one of the wing backs had gone up. It was the fact that hole that would have been there with the extra centre half was just completely taken up by Agyemang, and no one had even thought to pick him up. I mean, they played well the offside trap, but again, different day, he's through on goal.
Well, this is where a player like that who can play a bit on the stretch as well can cause you problems, especially if you're in a back three, because you've then got fewer players to try and move around. And sometimes the outside centre backs are trying to support the players up just ahead of them, sometimes the wing backs. So it can cause problems when you've got someone with a little bit of pace and movement that can kind of move you around a little bit. I agree with you. I think Derby could cause them some issues up there tonight. But Bristol City have got the ball now inside the Derby half, just enjoying few moments of possession. It's Randall playing it back.
Yeah, Ryan Brewster as well. He's tracking back a lot on that left-hand side as well. He is helping out that defence, especially if you've got the wing-backs pushing up, then they're going to need that extra defensive support. And with him potentially helping out the left-hand side, I think that could probably just keep the edge on for Derby when it comes to the defensive side. But again, he's a quick player. He can get up that left-hand side quite quick and support Agyemang. And I think them two especially quite link up well, especially with the missing Carlton Morris at the minute. But they've coped really well without him.
Yeah, and as you say, Brewster, I mean, one thing I will say about him, and I was disappointed with his time at Sheffield United, but he does work hard. He puts the effort in, he runs around. I can't take that away from him. And he'll give you that physical output. Which, especially when you're playing with wide forwards as well, and sometimes you need to drop in and defend, that can be quite important. Brereton Diaz is the same. He'll put a shift in. And they're the kind of players that John Eustace likes to sign. So not surprised to see him in that Derby side at all. I think it upgrades them as well from where they were. Just seasoned championship players that know the level. And ball back to the Derby goalkeeper now. So Derby just looking to try and play their way out, getting themselves in trouble here though, and they've had the ball stolen away, and just one Bristol City player in the box there doesn't manage to get to the ball, and Derby clean up in the end. But trying to play out and getting themselves into a little bit of bother there, getting pressed in those wide areas.
It's risky play from Derby, but they've gone from immediately playing out from the back to 30 seconds later trying to launch it long. So they're keeping Bristol City on the toes. Bristol City did try and claim for a foul there, but they played on. And again, they go direct and try and get it up quick, but they go back. So they're really varying up the play within minute to minute. So they're going to have to be really careful on how they set up here to defend it. Bristol City, I think they're just having a minute applause.
Minute applause for the Ashton Gate 8 there for Bristol City. So while the game is ongoing, and Bristol City win a free kick just inside their own half as they pan across the Ashton Gate 8 there. So looking at some of their former heroes on the screen, and I will say as well, a nice moment there for Bristol City, nice tribute. But it's a nice stadium, Ashton Gate. You wouldn't remember, Jamie, because you're far more fresh faced and younger than me. But when I was a kid, during the Warnock Sheffield United era, when I used to go to Ashton Gate to watch United play, and I did live down in Bristol before as well for a couple of years. I used to go and watch Bristol City from time to time as well. Ashton Gate did not look like this at all. It was quite an old-fashioned football ground. It looked a little bit smaller. They've always had a decent support. They've always been able to kind of mostly fill Ashton Gate, but they've really upgraded the stadium. It looks fantastic now. The work that they've done there and the facilities they've put in, as well as there's bars and fast food outlets around it and everything. It's really smart now. So they have kind of a street food type thing outside. It's quite cool.
It were a nice round when I went to it in the playoffs. Obviously, you said to yourself you were disappointed not to go there, but you went last season anyway during the league phase where we got to see a 90th minute winner. I would have been there as well if I weren't dog sitting these again, so I was gutted to miss that. But yeah, it's a decent stadium. I was surprised when I did go there in person. I think Ozo just picked up a yellow card following one of their last men. But yeah, I was surprised when I did look in the ground, and they've got a good backing, to be fair. They've got a good little corner. I can't remember what they call it. It's like 32 something. It's opposite the away end, left-hand side, ish, like in the corner. But yeah, I was surprised when I looked on my right-hand side and you saw where the cameras were. It didn't actually look that high in person. So it's just interesting to see how the ground looks in person. But yeah, on the outside, it's set up well for the away fans especially.
It is, and the oldest part of the stadium is actually the away end. So interestingly, that away end that you would have sat in during the playoffs, they call the Atio, that was at one time their main home end. That was their cop, basically. So when I used to go and watch them with a friend when I was younger, all the hardcore used to sit in the Atio, or certainly it seemed that way to me, and that's where he always wanted to sit. It had a good atmosphere in there. But when they redeveloped the stadium, they turned it into the away end. And that's the end we're looking at now as Bristol City have a free kick. And I think that's Scott Twine that's taken it. He's quite far out. He's looking for the shot there. Very ambitious. He's quite far from goal.
I know Scott Twine is probably in the English football pyramid, I'd say, in the top four at least. He's probably one of the best in the country for dead ball specialists, and he can hit them incredibly well. And by his standards, that's probably quite a poor one. But they do keep in the opposition third, Bristol City, apart from just now as I was saying it. Derby have just nicked it off and tried to go for the counter, but it's just gone out of play. So probably disappointing for Bristol City, especially Scott Twine, considering his reputation. But as he said, it were quite far out. So it's not the easiest chance in the world. But again, Derby are trying to play it on. They're going for the counter here. Whoever's right back, he's playing up here.
That's Wardy, so he's breaking away down the right. He's got some space here. He can deliver it, but it's well defended by Rob Dickey. And Derby look to rebuild again, so they've got the ball back. Ozo plays it back out to the right to Ward. Now it's Brereton Diaz. He knocks a nice ball inside. And Derby with a chance potentially here, but no, well defended again by Bristol City. So lots of Derby bodies in the box there. It seemed like they were putting a nice little move together there.
Brewster! Wow.
And it's in! It's a goal! Ryan Brewster, the man we know very well, puts Derby in front. They were threatening there, weren't they, mate? They had a couple of opportunities to score, and the ball's delivered back into the box from the left, and he buries it first time. It's a great goal.
Yeah, it's a really good finish. They've been building, to be fair. It would start with that counter earlier on where they just nicked it off Bristol City from originally, to be fair, from the free kick where they sort of built from that. And I was going to say they've looked a lot better than they did last game, and it sort of shows how they play better away from home for some reason. But it's a great ball in. I'm not sure who's played the crossing, but it's just landed perfectly at Bruce's feet, and he's composed really well. He's known in his time for just panicking and sort of trying to hit it as hard as he can, but he's hit it on the volley, side-footed, and just placed it, and it's really good finish.
It's Elder, the left back.
You've got to do. They should have done well, a bit better, Bristol City, to pick him up. But the movement from Bruce sitting behind just to sort of make sure that he could be quick with it and get out of there. it's really well placed from him.
It is, and it's Elder, the left back, that delivers it in. It was a player actually that caught my eye last week. I thought he had a good game against West Brom. He's a left back he's not a flashy player. He doesn't fly forward all the time, but he's very steady, defends well, and he can put in a good ball like that as well. He's a decent player, but again, Derby showing that, whilst they're not always looking to set the tyres alight in terms of goals and blow teams away, they've got a threat at the top of the pitch with Brewster and Adjumang and Brereton Diaz. There are players in there and players in behind them that can create as well when they want to. So Derby in front now. Bristol City, mate, could find this very difficult now, being 1-0 down to a team that's generally very good at defending, particularly away from home.
And I was just going to say as well, the clean sheet record from Bristol City, it was quite poor defending considering that. With them having 11 clean sheets, you think they'd probably man up a bit better. I know they play far back and that will help. But again, it's quite poor to not go for the man marking. But it's good from Brewster to just get free for anyone else. And Elder's done really well with the ball, and to see him as well through all the floods of bodies. But they're not slowing down Derby. They're still going again. Adjumang in behind it, plays it back. Bobby Clark, Brewster, and it's Paulie. Bobby Clark keeps it. Not sure who's got it. Diaz, 2-0.
2-0. Brereton Diaz.
It's a great finish again.
I tell you what, my mates and my family members that support Bristol City are not going to be happy with me tonight, because it's two former Sheffield United players that fired Derby into a 2-goal lead early in this game, and Brereton Diaz with the second goal. So I would say at this point, mate, Bristol City have got a mountain to climb, because if Derby want to drop in and defend, they can. I've seen them do it. So, and I must, while I'm here, I forgot to update the score at 1-0. So now I've got to update it to 2-0 Derby County.
I mean, it's a good finish from Diaz, but you talk about the press from Derby in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, Bristol City trying to play out from back, but just a stray pass from, I can't remember who it were, but he just plays straight into Derby's hand. They have a few shots, deflecting all that. But Diaz, he just hits it, goes through a sea of bodies, and it's into the bottom corner. And it's 2-0 Derby County. Great start for them.
And clips in off the top side of the foot of the Bristol City player as he's going down. I think it looks like it might have been Jason Knight. He's the one that seems to be a bit distraught. And that really unsighted Vitek and essentially made it, with the spin of the ball, made it impossible for him to try and make a save. Bristol City with a lot of work to do here, and Derby fans will be jubilant at the moment. Just while the mayhem of the last few minutes dies down, I'll get back into some comments just to keep us ticking along. And I'm trying to remember where I was, mate. Here we go. So we got Dave Morwood. Ooh, shots fired, Darren. So he's referring to the comments Darren made towards you and Jimmy earlier. A bit of jovial banter between the Platts, David, of course, Darren, and we know that, mate. So no sweat at all.
Oh, Scott Jakobsen in behind here, nicked off Derby. Just cleared away. Apologies about that. Thought Bristol City might have a decent chance of scoring there.
I'm glad you're paying attention, mate, because I'm sweating now over the comments and I'm ignoring the game, so thank you for that.
I'll watch it, don't worry.
Martin says, evening, gents. Question for Jamie. Will you be watching the games while down under? Surely Jamie will stay up at ridiculous hours to watch the games. I bet you will, won't you?
Well, considering last season that I was getting up at 6 a.m. to go to Plymouth away for some reason when it looked like we'd completely lost it. But I'm probably going to look to do a few watch-alongs as well. Obviously, depending on if I can get something set up to actually watch it and a device holder. It's just shown as well, Derby just gone from mid-table, just shot into 6th place. I was trying to get a few watch-alongs on. It might be a bit difficult time-wise because some of the games will be at like 3 a.m. But we'll give it a good go.
Well, that won't stop you, mate, because I've seen you messaging in the Platts at that sort of time, and you don't.
I'm awake at like 4 a.m. at a minute. It's horrible.
I remember being your age, and I was like, I could never sleep, and I used to go to bed at crazy times. Just looking at the possession there, Bristol City 62% of the possession. Doesn't it make you laugh how like teams dominate possession at times, find themselves 2-3 goals down? It's just, you can have a lot of possession and do nothing with it at times. But
Sheffield United were like that in the prime years during like 2018 to 2020. Never dominated possession, yet one of the best teams I've ever seen United have.
Yeah, and it's just about there's
Bruce
more than one
as
way to
well
skin
there,
a
sorry.
cat, isn't there? More than one way to skin a cat. Harry's back with think we should do a swap for Chong, get the squad down. Mate, if we can find a good swap for Chong, I'm all over it. Let's see if Barnsley want Chong. Let's see if they'll swap for Cleary. I'm not sure they'll be up for that, quite honestly. But if we can find a way, yeah, I'm all for it. Dave Blademan says, contrary to what others think, I believe that that in a month's time, I think he means there, we will be seeing the best of Ogbene. He can make a big contribution. Dave, I hope so, mate. I've not seen it so far. I believe that pace, that blistering pace that we've been led to believe he has, or that I've seen before at other clubs, I believe it's there.
Derby coming in again.
Here
Good
he is.
defending by Bristol City.
Yeah, very well defended, I think, by McCrory there.
Yeah. I will just say, by the way, it's a bit interesting to see how Derby are playing. Obviously, Bruce, he can sort of play all over, but Adjaman sort of just gone onto that left-hand side. Bruce has taken up sort of the striker role, but Bobby Clark pushing up that height, sort of making it from the attacking midfield into a bit like a front two. So I think for the front four, you could say, I think Brereton Diaz is sort of the only one sticking to his position, but they're all covering for each other. And again, they're constantly pressing. They're playing really well with Derby.
They really are, and a fabulous start to this game. But just to go back to Dave's comment about Ogbene, I think Ogbene sits in the space at the moment, Dave, of a player that's had injuries, one of them quite serious, and doesn't trust his body at the moment. Yeah. And I think that's why he doesn't drive past fullbacks and do the things that we know he was once capable of. I hope for his sake and for his career he'll find that again at some point. But as Sheffield United fans, we haven't seen it so far. I hope you're right, but I'm not holding my breath. Ian comes in with apologies if this has already been mentioned. Saw a post on X earlier claiming Zach Viner to Wrexham to be announced after the game. Interesting. And actually, Ian, as you mentioned that, one thing I hadn't picked up on, and let me just double check that that's the case. Yes, he's not in the side. So very astute observation, because George Tanner is playing on the right of that back three, or what was expected to be a back three, at least in this game. George Tanner's normally a full-back or a wing-back, and it looks like they've lined him up before this game as a makeshift centre-back, where Zach Viner would normally play. So, yeah, didn't notice that, and Viner is a regular for him, so very interesting.
They are sort of picking up here attacking-wise. Bristol City, they're sort of going down, trying to hit the wings a bit more than they were previously, instead of going direct down the middle. It's causing a few issues for Derby, but they're defending well. It is a corner for Bristol City at the minute. It's just been taken. But again, they are defending decent well. It's a free kick for Derby. It's given away easily for Bristol City.
Yeah, and that looks like they'll get a free kick for that. And Darren's in the comments with evening, gents. Big weekend ahead. We never do well in London. Oh, we're in London, aren't we? But this could be the week. Win at Millwall, and it's Champions League in 2 years' time. You're a braver man than me, Darren. One day, I'd take a League Cup, to be honest with you, or a sustained spell in the Premier League. Maybe I'm not ambitious enough. Dave Morwood says Gaz will love that call from the AR. Yeah, we'll have to get Gaz's opinion on that. Gaz is always a good person to pick the brains of regarding referees, and obviously we do that, and I'm going to plug it again. We do that on All Aboard the Championship and Top 20 Takes, which you can find on Tuesday and Thursday respectively, and you'll see Gaz done on most of those streams, giving us the benefit of his knowledge and experience with regard to refereeing. Darren is back with Brewster. What a waste of 30 million. It didn't cost us 30 million, Darren, but I agree.
Was that comment by any chance before he scored?
yeah, probably was. And to be fair, Darren, I don't believe we paid 30 million for him. I believe it was quite a bit less than that. It's still not money well spent for me. Don't shoot me, Ian. Ian is a big Brewster fan and will come after me for saying that. But yeah, Brewster, what waste 30 million? If you'd offered me 10% of what Brewster was earning, I could be a good lad around the dressing room. Ian says, allowed that comment against my better judgment. I'm surprised. What did you say the other day, Jamie? You were about to say something in the plat chat and you were worried that Ian would send you to the shadow realm. I'm surprised he's not done that to Darren for that Brewster comment.
Oh, yeah, it were, what were it now? Pitchmore Pig. He put, I shouldn't out him, but sorry, it's his own fault. He deleted the tweet since. He compared Bannon leaving Wednesday to George Baldock dying. So I weren't the happiest in the world, and I would have been quite strong on my opinion. But I think somehow I thought rather than getting deleted from my life, I'll keep quite calm somehow. But yeah, I weren't very happy with that, and I don't think many were. The fact he deleted it, I did question it on him, and they just said, well, it's because all United fans there just questioning me, saying being stupid.
I don't think many Blades would have been happy with that. And to be honest with you, the least said about it, the better. It's a ridiculous comment. Darren says, Jamie turns to Lewis and asks, who's Warnock? I'm only 19, I know. Yeah, Jamie often, I was going to say frustrated.
Bobby Clark in here.
Derby Ari. And it's an effort just wide from Clark to Derby. Looking really menacing on the counter-attack now as well. And this is a problem Bristol City are going to have. They've got to push forward to get back into this game. And Derby have got a threat at the top of the pitch. They almost get in there and score again.
That pacing behind, and Bobby Clark, he probably should have had a fake shot and then squared it to, I think, Ajamang on his left-hand side. But it is what it is, and they're still 2-0 up. It'll just be a case of trying to keep Bristol City from pushing up.
Got James saying, you're looking the part, Jamie. I think so as well, mate. He's got, he's the perfect co-commentator. He's got facts, he's got figures, he's got observations as well. What more do you need?
Darren Hinchcliffe, some could say.
I would say so, and and Hinchcliffe's not for me. He's slightly better than Don Goodman. Don Goodman does my.
He's not great.
Darren says, thought that might trigger you, Ian, as the injury sponsor. There you go. I think now we're getting to the point at which Ian Brewster scored, so we're catching up a little bit now. Ian, your boy is netted. Dave Morwood. One swallow doesn't make a summer, Ian. So we got Brewster debate going off in the chat now. As long as the comments keep coming, I don't mind.
To be fair, from a United point of view, that goal against Wednesday was worth every penny for me. And I know we won't have been 23 odd million because that'll have been with all the add-ons. It'll have still been a lot of money, but for me, that goal was worth it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. I'm with you on that one. And it's a nice stadium. The home turnstiles are like going into an office. They share it with the rugby. I remember seeing United play there in a relegation playoff. They do share it with the rugby, James. So obviously Bristol Bears are in the Premiership in the rugby, and are a pretty big club in rugby union, and share the stadium with Bristol City. Steve Lansdowne, the owner of Bristol City, owns quite a few sports clubs. He puts it under a bit of an umbrella, a bit like the Barcelona model. I think he owns the basketball team as well. You see Bristol Bears playing at Ashton Gate. It's an interesting city, Bristol, because it's quite a big city, and it's easily big enough to have a Premier League club. Bristol City probably being the most likely to do that, but they've got obviously Bristol Rovers in the city as well, who are quite well supported for an EFL side at their level. Bristol Bears, they've got to compete with as well because people love their rugby down here as well. I live in the area. So I think that's what Bristol City are competing with a lot of the time. And had it, if it wasn't in a rugby area, they would probably get much bigger crowds, to be honest.
A bit like Leeds, you could even say.
A little bit like Leeds and Bradford. You know, the Northwest is obviously big for rugby league, isn't it? But yeah, very much the same.
Bristol City through here, by the way. Got it through. Out for a corner. They're playing well. Bristol City since they start committing a few more bodies forward now. Obviously, they're going to be on the counter, but they've got to go for it with them being 2-0 down. And I think someone's down here. I think it might be Rob Dickey. I'm not too sure though. But they're just trying to hit Derby on the counter, even though they are keeping bodies back a bit now.
They are, and Bristol City are increasingly going to have to push forward to banner update 2-0. Yes, Jimmy's pulled me for the banner update there. I was a bit slow off the mark. I never got the 1-0 up, did I, mate? Ray, 2 X-Blades scoring on fire. They are. They certainly are, mate. And the corner came in, and now it's just been kind of dealt with. It's come back to Bristol City, about 25 yards out from Derby. They're over on the left, and yeah, that pass is going to go out for a goal kick. Harry, bloody hell, the Sheffield United player carrying seems the same as the Hull team. Don't know if I read that right. Too bad our actual team haven't been doing it. Ian says, and great chemistry, boys, says Jimmy. I always expected it, mate. Whenever I spend any time with Jamie Dumpling, the conversations are usually pretty hilarious. They're just the stuff we talk about. We're being quite professional and kind of staying between the lines tonight. Yeah. As we relax more and more as this game wears on, it'll probably go right off the rails. So let's see what happens. I will set you up, Lewis. You plug it. Any idea what that means?
It'll be something about we spoke about earlier and we've completely forgotten about.
Sorry, Dave.
That shows the professionalism on show tonight.
It does. And yes, lads, hope you were good. Thanks, Jack. Thanks for coming along, mate. Appreciate it. If Wilder was still in charge, do you think we would have kept Brewster? Yes, Jack, I think there's a chance. I think that there's a chance he would have tried to renew him, especially as, Ryan showed a little bit of fitness towards the end of last season and managed to get a run of games in the side. I think there's a good chance he would have stayed. What's your take on that, Jay? What do you think?
Just quickly, Derby County again trying to play a ball in from Bobby Clark. They're just hitting him again. But I think with Brewster, what you notice is Adjaman Gay shot out for corner. Yeah, Brewster, the issue with him is that he never was fit enough to gain a bit of form. So he'd always have like a couple of games here and there and then get injured again. So we never, before that last injury where he came back into it, we never actually saw before the last season him get a run of form or a run of games, where he was able to try and pick up some form. And in the final season with us, he managed to pick up some games and he got the form. So it shows that the only reason he didn't really perform with us, obviously, it was not to the expectation we had. I don't think he'll ever get to that as a player, and the injuries won't have helped. But he never really got a proper chance, just down to the injuries. And I would have kept him because not only was he good for the dressing room, he's a leader. He'll help everyone out, and it's just someone good to show the younger players like the experience. Obviously, he's a young player himself, and he's been really unlucky with his time with us. And maybe he needed a new environment. And best of luck to him. Nothing personal at all. I think that's what Dave Knowles said as well when he was on about potential leaving. But again, the moment he got that run of games, played well.
He did. He did. He contributed quite a lot at the end of last season. Not just in terms of because he got the odd goal. I think he got a couple of goals, didn't he? I remember a memorable one at home that he fired into the corner for. I think it was in a 3-1 win. I'm trying to remember who it was against. But he put in a shift as well. Yes, it was. Thank you. And he played ever so well at Wembley in that first half. I thought, which is a game obviously we'd all like to ultimately forget. But
I think at Wembley as well in the playoff final, I think he got the header away into Gus for that counter where Ty Campbell scored as well. So did actually play quite a big part in it. Sorry to interrupt, by the way.
No, it's fine. Alessandro's just come in with a comment. I was hoping Bristol would drop points tonight, but I was more thinking that this would be a draw. Fair play to Derby so far, be it optimism or delusion, keep that pack above us more compact. Yeah, I think so. I think as many draws as we can get from that group, the better, because anyone that's hoping that we might still get into the playoffs, and look, I'm a little bit sceptical about that. But if we're going to do it, it's not just about us winning games; it's about teams above us faltering as well. Darren says 30 million includes his wages when he was playing for us, Lewis. Okay, fair enough, mate. Yeah, I mean he was on. I believe he was on a decent salary. He was one of the higher paid players at the club, I think. So you may well be right on that one.
You've got to think as well, it won't be on what it were at United, anywhere near. Derby, not only won't they be able to pay that, but they won't have paid that flat out. They'll have refused. So if whatever they've offered, something tells me United probably could have matched it potentially, just with, obviously, I know Derby will be able to offer a decent wage, but the fact that it being Wilder potentially could have swayed him. But even if we go up, that's probably less of a chance of him sticking around. So it would probably only be if we stay down, and Wilder say that's probably the only situation where he could potentially have stayed at United. But the new environment for him has not done him any bad at all.
No, it's not, and it seems to be getting a little bit of a tune out of him as Derby look to play the ball out of their half now. That goes out for a throw in, so Derby will get a throw on their left hand side, just inside their half, and they look pretty comfortable at the moment, Jamie. I know Bristol City had a little bit of a flurry there and tried to put a little bit of pressure on, but Derby look comfortable at the moment to me, and Bristol City are going to have all on getting back into this. Elder plays it back to the goalkeeper, and that's played across to Dion Sanderson, now to Ward, and he tries to knock it down the line to Brereton Diaz, but that's going to go out for a Bristol City throw-in. Mate, help me out with this, right? So I've seen this on some of Jimmy's streams. You're down with the kids. I'm not. What does this mean? I know it's obviously a reference to Millwall.
Yeah, it's what they go. It's what they chant every time they just play. They go Mill, that really long out. Just say it.
Oh, that's what that is.
It's just what Millwall fans do, and it's just loud. You'll hear it on the you won't be going to it, and it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, so the blackout, so you won't be able to watch it, of course. But on the highlights, you'll probably be able to hear it.
You'll have to go
unless you go abroad, which I am doing. I'm going to have a little quick trip to Spain for that one. Spain or Belgium, I'm not too sure yet.
Quick trip to Spain or Belgium for Jamie Dumpling. I believe Jimmy's off to Canada to watch it.
Yeah.
The things we do to watch our club, I tell you.
I know.
Jack puts Derby into the top 6 tonight. Yes, mate. Something Jamie.
Derby 3-0.
Derby through. It's 3-0.
I think it's offside.
He did look, when he raced away there, he looked like he had far too much time and space. And I'm thinking, well, I didn't see the line.
He's not flagged.
Oh, they're still celebrating, aren't they? They're not. No one's looking for a flag there.
No,
but he had so much
flag,
time and space, didn't he? But no flag appeared.
I thought I heard a whistle go. To be fair, that's why I said offside. And he did look it, but it must be a well-timed run. I'll be interested to see the replay. It's a great counter once again, and whoever's played that switching behind from the middle to Diaz, he's on. That is a great
He's well onside. He's easily onside, and it's a great ball from Brereton Diaz. Just knocks it into that space for Clark, and very composed finish, because he has to race onto that. He has to stretch his legs a bit, and with his left foot just guides it into that far corner past Vitek, who has no chance really. And straight through his legs, actually, on the replay. Derby County 3-0 up. What? I did not predict this. I have to say, I thought it'd be a tight game. I thought it might be, an action-filled game. It has been. It's been the latter. It's certainly not been tight, mate. 3-0 to the away side, and we're into 38 minutes, or the 38th minute of the game. And
go on, mate.
No, go for it.
No, you can say it just shows how much better Derby are away from home, and that clean sheet record from Bristol City just looks like you've just made it up. It just does not look like they're even defensively stable. Is it who are they selling to Wrexham, Bristol City?
Zach Viner, I think, was mentioned earlier.
Potentially. I don't know. I can't remember what he's like exactly, but they've just got no pace in that defensive, in the defense for Bristol City. So they're just not coping well with any of the four, because of all four are doing well with the counters. Diaz got a decent bit of pace by him. Adamanga Brewster just quick plays overall. Bobby Clark, he's quick, but he's a clever player, and he's got Liverpool players to help him out as well. So he'll know how to play them kind of runs. So it's just really poor management, you could say, from Bristol City, considering as well how well Shrew was done.
Yeah, and you can see the Bristol City fans there look pretty nonplussed at the moment. Certainly not. I certainly didn't expect Derby to race into a 3-goal lead in the first half. And Bristol City have got a hell of a lot to do now to get back into this. Jack says it seems they got a handle on his injury, so he's referring to Brewster there. Possibly, mate. Maybe we did towards the back end of his spell because he did have a sustained run in the team.
He'll have just passed on the notes as well. If United's the ones that got it solved, he'll have passed on whatever notes they've got. But Bristol City here again.
They've got a chance.
3-1.
It's 3-1.
It's foul, no goal. Ref's blowing his whistle. Offside.
It is. He's got his flag up.
They'll be livid. That didn't look offside to me. It seemed to be, I think it cut to Derby there, where they were just messing around. I weren't fully watching it there. You seem to be messing around with the ball. Here we go. So they've launched it up. Bristol City cleared it away. And it's offside. That is unlucky. It's just a long ball in behind.
So it's not the player that picked up the ball in Bell, but it's the player that eventually was the one that got the final touch for the goal that was originally offside. It's been disallowed. So unfortunately for Bristol City, not given a route back into the game before half time, that would have been a precious goal to go into half time with. But
I will be interested what Gaz says about that offside, just because you could say he's not technically interfered with play because he's not gone for the ball, whoever's offside, even though he was in the position. So it's just that one is just purely on opinion, and it'll be sort of a stinger for Bristol City because now they're thinking if they go into that half 3-1 down. They're thinking, okay, we've just got that goal late on, bounced on from it. But the fact they've had that now disallowed as well, just after the ball went into back of the net as well, that'll just completely kill any sort of momentum they could have had.
Yeah, it's a gut punch, isn't it, when that happens, especially when you're trailing in a game. It reminds me of when Sheffield United, and you will definitely be too young to remember this, Jamie, but when we were 3-0 down in Cardiff in the playoff final to Wolves.
I thought you were going to say Villa then.
No, it was Wolves, and when we got a penalty, and Michael Brown, who had been prolific all season, and anything he touched turned to gold, and he missed the penalty, and it just sucked the life out of any possible chance of a comeback. So when that happens, it's a real gut punch. But Dave Morwood is back in the comments. Lewis, it was a reference to a comment I made, and you plugged all aboard the championship. Thank you, mate. Sorry, I was completely thinking about too many different things, mate, and didn't pick up on that. So thank you, mate.
I've just noticed, by the way, for some reason it looks like if you put your arm back down, it looks like your shoulder just extends into my room for some reason. If you just line it upright, it's just a pillow. It's just that pillow that's just lined up weirdly.
Look at that. So half of my arm is this is a lie, isn't it? We're actually in the same room looking at this. So half my arm is in where is your dad's house, isn't it?
Yeah, my dad's house. It's just it don't look like that anymore. I think it moved slightly away. But yeah, it just at one point it just were perfectly in line. It was weird. I just had to mention it was weird.
I've got to get Jimmy to make a short of this. That's hilarious.
You don't get this on Sky Sports.
Yeah, you don't get this kind of cutting edge reporting and camaraderie and chemistry that we've got. Scott says, I'm off to Cyprus to watch it. Oh, Scott's going overseas to Cyprus tomorrow. All these blades going overseas to watch the game. Absolutely. Done some really good recruitment, Derby, what season they're having. Yeah, they have, mate, and they've recruited well at the top of the pitch as well. Ray says, Derby looking good, well worth 3 goals, playing some lovely football. Yeah, they've been terrific first half, blown Bristol City away, mate.
The goalkeeping's not even being bad, to be fair. They're just 3 really good finishes, you could argue.
And Dave questioning the offside.
Maybe not the third one as much because he's gone through his leg, but definitely the first and second one.
Great call by the assistant referee, and says, yes, mate, he spotted it. Me and Jamie were too busy reading the comments and having a chat. But on the replay, we found that, it was a good call. That's what I mean. We seem to have got the handle on it, Jack said. Hopefully we can do the same with Davis. I hope so, mate. I mean, if we could get Tom Davis right, it'd be a hell of an asset to us. But I just feel in the last year of his contract, it might be a little bit too late. And I think we've caught up with the comments, amazingly. Darren says, Jamie, is it true that you're famous in Australia, as I believe you're big down and... Oh, dear. Okay. Well,
Not very appropriate.
I have got to start. I tell you what, Jimmy's going to be laughing at me again. I've got to start reading these comments before I put them up. I got caught out with one last week, and I've got caught out with one there. We'll have less of that, Darren, and I'm going to go and laugh about that after we've gone off stream. Dave Morwood says, I have to ask, are you two holding hands? No, I've just got my arms sort of...
I need to move that way a bit now.
Only you would notice that. Only you would notice
the little detail.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'll let you, Jamie. I'll let you take some of these because I've gone on a bit of a long run.
Here we go. I need to get Bolton readers. Barnsley signed a left winger on loan from Barnsley.
Interesting.
I'm okay.
Oh no, he comes back in with Wolves. So there we
go. Right. Okay. So Wolves signed. Barnsley have signed a winger on loan. A left wing. A left winger from Wolves. Right. Okay. So that's potentially them anticipating Cleary leaving. So that could be a decent sign, whether he comes to us or a different championship side. I know Blackburn were rumoured, but I think they've just been with a lawsuit or something from Macron, the kit supplier, where they've not made payments or something. I didn't read the full details, but they're being given some papers where they're in a bit of trouble with kit suppliers. So again, another issue with Barnsley's owners. And it's not looking great for them, especially a club that size.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, just really trying to see what, because Derby are on the counter attack again there. Brereton Diaz has got it on the right, knocks it inside the clock.
There were a point as well where a Bristol City player went down. I can't remember who it were, but again, Ozo's done very well there to wriggle out of danger.
Yeah.
But again, they've just not even seemed to have started to fix the issues. They just they seem to be tracking runners, but then because all four players are quay, a different one will just take the position. So it's really poor, defending from Bristol City.
It is, and Brereton Diaz knocks it back there to Sanderson. So they're just trying to see out this half now. Derby going with a 3-0 lead. I think sensible approach from them. Darren says, "Sorry, Lewis, it's quite all right, mate. The gatekeeper should do a little bit more filtering of comments as well." But my second watch along, so I'll get there. I'll start knowing when to read them and not bring them up.
I'm pretty sure, Lewis, that even if he removes the comments, I think StreamYard doesn't delete them. So even if he gets rid of them, you're still going to see them.
Still going to see them, and I could potentially bring them up on screen as well. There was one from a Wednesday last week. That I had a little bit of a naughty acronym in it or something like that for us, and I just brought it up without reading it. So lessons learned for Batman Low, and Derby clear the ball
from Brewster.
What's that, mate?
Just a big clearance there from Brewster to Hadjimang. It looked like he got fouled in the Bristol City half, but no foul given.
And Bristol City have got the ball now just inside the Derby half. But yeah, this half's going to peter out, and it looks to me like Derby are going to go in 3-0 up. I think Bristol City have got a right job on their hands here. I mean, they've got to come out and have a go second half, and they're going to need to score early as well to try and get back in this game.
Yeah. It's surprising how poor they've been, considering what they're expected to be. I know Derby are good away from home, obviously, but the fact it's 3-0 is just really surprising. They've just picked up I think Emil Rees has just picked up a foul on the edge of the box for them. But yeah, they've been really poor considering everything. But again, take away nothing from Derby. They've had a blind. When it's on counter, all four of that front four have been exceptional. Bobby Clark's just a great gift to play. He'll go on to do great things. But Bruce and Diaz especially has been great, just providing that outlet on the right-hand side. Bruce making them quick runs to port. And Hadjimang just helping out, fill the gaps. If Bruce takes up one roll, he'll swap round. It's a clever partnership, them two. Balling here from the free kick, he just seemed to miss everyone. It's going out for a throw-in. That might be half-time.
As it's half-time, as Brewster is on screen there. He's about to run down the tunnel. He's having a word with the referee. I'm not sure what about there.
Adjumang's when he got fouled just before half time.
Yeah. And Clark walking off the pitch, Brereton, Diaz. So those boys can be pretty happy going into half time. 3-0 up away from home. What a start for Derby County. And you've got to think Bristol City have got to come out with a response second half and try and get an early goal. We've got a few more comments to get through, mate. Ian says, correct, Jamie. That was in reference to the fact that Ian, could delete the comments and it still appear on here. Jack says, next game I can attend is Wednesday at home. Honestly, can't wait for it. I think most of us can't, mate. I think that's it's going to be a difficult day for Sheffield Wednesday if all things go to plan and expectation.
I think that might be the understatement of the century.
It might be the understatement of the century, you're right. And I just got caught out by another little cheeky comment there from Paul Young. As I say, I've got to start reading these beforehand. You're visiting family or backpacking for 3 months, whatever, enjoy the adventure. So that's from Sheila's Wheels. Let us know, mate. What are you doing out there? So you're on a bit of a tour, aren't you? You're going around a few different places.
Yeah, so it's a bit of an interesting one. I've got a bit of flack from this from a few people, but I've not got an out-and-out plan. I know when I get there, because I've got my cousins and my auntie and uncle over there. Thank you, Sheila, by the way. So for the first week or so, I'm going to stay with one of my cousins, just to get my feet settled and work out what to do from there, see if they've got a few ideas. Obviously, I'm going to go and see my family members. But I am planning on starting in Brisbane, and then sort of working out where to go from there. I have got tickets for the Melbourne Grand Prix, or one of the practice days, which were cheap, to be fair. So if I miss it, I'm not too bothered. And it's quite far to get to Melbourne within, I think it's a month I need to get there within. But I should get to Sydney at some point. But I'm sort of going to make sure as I go along, to be fair. I'm planning on going to a few of the Aussie Rules, Aussie Rules football games over there, so that'll be a good watch. I might do a ramble on the road for that. But I don't really know. It's just sort of one of them make up as I go along.
Yeah, and that's you'll enjoy the Aussie Rules, mate. I don't know if you've been to one of those games before, but that's really their national sport, and it's a great sport as well. It's quite a physical game. I quite enjoy watching it. It's a good game. Is Aussie Rules football, and we're just looking at some more comments. Mr. V is in the comments. Thank you for joining us, mate. Good evening, boys. I didn't expect this score at half time. No, me neither. Great job by Batman and Dumpling. Thank you, bud. Paul Young, it's like the old Simpsons episode where Bart keeps asking Mo to ask if someone is in the pub. At least they weren't vulgar. That's true, mate. They were quite. They were in the right spirit, weren't they? They were just there to make people laugh. Dave Morwood says, "Been a great watch, guys. Jamie, have a great time in Oz. You'll be missed, but try a kangaroo burger if you can catch one." You legend. Yeah. So hopefully you won't have to catch it and cook it yourself, Jamie. You'll get one in a nice establishment over there. I've only ever had one in this country, so they may well be much better over there. If you do get a chance. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, 5-0, 7 pigs down. Shut them up about Boxing Day. Jamie, don't watch Wall Creek. It's about backpacking in Oz. I think Mr. V's recommended it a few times to watch. I've not had a chance to be fair. So I might just watch it on the plane, to be fair. If I do watch it, I'm not too sure.
Maybe watch it on the plane back, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. It'll be less Wolf Creek. It'll probably be more In Between Us Two, I imagine.
Yeah, In Between Us Two. That's a good one to watch if you're going to. Mind you, that's got some horror in it as well, and in a different kind.
Great film, though. Great film.
Yeah, really funny. Sheila's Wheels says, lived in Melbourne for 8 years. Great sports city. Visit the MCG. Awesome. Is that on your list, Jamie? Is that on your agenda?
If I get to Melbourne, I don't know what the MCG is. I'll have a look after this. But yeah, I do want to get to Melbourne. It's just a case of will I? Because if you look at how long it takes to get from Brisbane to Melbourne, well, put it this way. When I went last time to Australia, I had a 12-hour delay, and we were originally doing Manchester to Abu Dhabi to Brisbane. But because of the delay, we had to do Manchester to Abu Dhabi to Melbourne to Brisbane. And Melbourne to Brisbane is an hour flight on its own. So God knows how long it'll take without going on a plane.
No, it's a pretty vast country, isn't it? But there's this obviously huge, almost inhabitable area in the middle, or pretty much inhabitable area in the middle. Although there are some people that sort of live in some of those central parts. But yeah, such a huge place to get around. It's a bit like trying to get around America. You know, you want to go from one major place to another. It's a flight, not a drive in a car. Jamie's going over as a scout. He just can't tell us, says Harry. James says, go and see Dougie Hodgson. You won't remember him. Yeah, Jamie probably won't remember Dougie Hodgson. He was not heard of him, Jay? Dougie Hodgson?
Never even heard of him.
He was an Australian player that Sheffield United signed under Dave Bassett when I was a kid. And he was physical, quite a tough guy. Some players found him quite frightening. He was a big fella. And yeah, really, really hard player, Dougie Hodgson, but a real interesting, funny character as well. I met him one time. He was a funny bloke, quite a lot of fun. So
can I just say, by the way, you said how we signed him under Bassett when you were a kid. If you were a kid, I've got no chance.
No, that's right. Well, we would have signed Dougie Hodgson when I was, I don't know, 7, 8, something like that. So I caught the back end of the Bassett era mostly, or the back half of it at least. Jamie's going over as a scout. He just can't tell us. He may well be. There might be some good players in the. I can't remember what the Australian league's called now. Is it the A-League? Yeah.
It's sort of on the nose. I'm pretty sure, though, in an interview Charlie Austin did, if anyone can remember him, that great player, he said that the big players, they'll have been on like near enough professional wages, and then you'll have had like part-time plumbers playing with them. It's a bit like AFCON where you've got a range of players with each other. It's just a weird league on how they pay people.
Yeah, big difference in standard between the players within the same competition. It is strange, but I guess great for some of those lower paid semi-pro players, let's say, get to play with some of these famous pros. It must be a great experience for them. Sheila's Wheel says, don't rate those burgers, David. Darren says, Jamie, don't watch it on the plane going over. You'll get on the next plane back. Yeah, I know what you mean. Dougie Hodgson, second only to Billy Whitehurst. Yeah, possibly, Paul. Possibly.
See, I know with Billy Whitehurst only because of him and Vinnie Jones being an absolute menace together.
Yeah, he's a pretty. He was a pretty scary dude, Billy Whitehurst. But Dougie Hodgson went far behind him.
From the sounds of it, Billy Whitehurst is one of them where if he walks into a pub, everyone just stops and stares and tries to keep their head down.
Goes quiet. Yeah. I've heard some tales about Billy Whitehurst. He was he's widely regarded, or certainly in some circles, as the toughest pro there ever was, and I think it'd be difficult to argue with for those that remember him. But Dave Mortar's great advice. Lewis, watch it on the way back, Jamie, or you will get off the plane in Oz and get straight back on the next flight to the UK. It can be pretty ropey, that film, especially if you're about to go on a trip to Oz. A-League is awful. I'll tell you word for it, Sheila. I don't watch a lot of it. I've seen it in the past. I saw it because we, I say we, Kevin McCabe, when he was Sheffield United owner, he also owned a club over there, didn't he? Was it Central Coast Mariners or something like that? So I watched the odd game back then, and obviously you can get it. I think you can still get coverage, can't you, of the A-League over here? I'm not sure what channel it's on, but I'll take your word for it, Sheila. I don't know.
It can't be much worse than the Bulgarian league that we got some of our AI signings from. Surely not.
Well, I don't know. I can't comment on the Bulgarian league as well, although a lot of the players from that part of Europe end up moving into Central Europe. So there must be some good players in there, but we just didn't find them. Film to watch on way there is Castaway. No, I don't think so, Paul. I recommend watching that actually after you're off the return flight and you're home and on dry land.
It's like something Grandad said, because he watches plane crash documentaries before he goes on a flight. It's like one of them.
It's just some cruel people in this chat. But Dave Morwood comes in with Billy scared me when he played for the Blades. Yeah, I think he scared everyone, mate. He was some character. Was Billy Whitehurst. Darren says there used to be an annual competition between Australian rules football and the Irish GAA. but it had to be stopped because there was more fighting than anything else. So they stopped playing them. Yeah, I bet there was fighting, Darren, but I bet you they went and had a good drink afterwards as well. That you can imagine what kind of party that would be afterwards. They'd punch it out and then they'd drink it out afterwards. James says at one time we had links with Perth Glory and Central Coast Mariners. So my intel wasn't completely off there. What does Paul say here? In total, we have made a profit from the AI signings, and that was the entire point. I haven't looked at it that closely, Paul. If we have, great. Making a profit's good. I am a little bit more concerned about bringing players in that can help the first team. That's always got to be number one priority. And if we can make money out of it, great. If it's a bit of a cash cow, that's good. But we shouldn't be making too many of those signings. And because when you make them as well, I think it can stop you from exploring the market for players that can actually make an impact for you. You can't make the squad too big. But, for making money, fine.
We haven't made profit from all of them. Jefferson Casera is a standout one where I think it was James Board, the guy that told us to buy the player, said, I'll then buy the player off you myself, but for cheaper. It's definitely not some kind of money laundering scheme, that bloke. And best of luck with Sheffield Wednesday and him going great. It were a bit dodgy, some of them deals, especially with him also having links to some of the Bulgarian clubs. And I think it came out that allegedly one of the players was a victim of human trafficking, something like that. I don't want to get dark. It just shows how absolutely mental some of them signings were. But also, you're not going to get some of the greatest players from, for what we're paying. I think we paid $1.5 million for Caceres. That's probably a bit too much for an AI signing. You look at Brighton, they paid probably a couple $100,000 in the early days. Some players in Ecuador and all that. 1.5 million. That's it. You can get an okay championship player for that. That's not what you want. I get some of these can be once in a blue moon. You may get a £20 million player, but again, we've done that with someone like Sidney Peck. It was at Arsenal. So the signings just make no sense because you're not having the eye test as well.
Well, for the value of a Jefferson Caceres or someone like that, you've got Ebu Adams going to Portsmouth and scoring in a derby against Southampton.
Ebu Adams was half the price.
Yeah, exactly, and it just shows you what value you can get if you go after players that are suitable for the level. Some extraordinary claims from you there as well, Jamie. There was
alleged.
We'll not go back into that. Don't get on the plane. That's my advice to Jack. Yeah, Jack's not a good flyer. Yeah, he's not one for the planes. Is Jack? Don't watch Jaws, says Dave Morwood.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's worth seeing. Do you know what? Loads of people love Jaws. I'm not a huge Jaws fan. I think it was a Spielberg film, and of all of his films, it's probably one of my least favorites. Just never did anything for me. But loads of people love it. Looks like Wendy's takeover in trouble. Article in tomorrow's Guardian. Interesting, Ray. We'll look forward to, as Sheffield United fans, we will very much look forward to reading that.
We just take a moment, by the way, for that comment about Wednesday. Ha!
Yeah, and that'll be the noise we make tomorrow as well when we read it. Sheila's Wheel said, could never get into Aussie rules, but the atmosphere at the MCG in front of 80,000 is electric. James says, get the Aussie League on the magic stick. I think when James refers to a magic stick, he's talking about getting on a plane and going overseas to watch it.
I've heard some people use Magic Stick as a reference for Now TV. I don't know if Now TV or DAZN. I mean, it might be some deal that Now's done with the A-League. I'm not too sure. It could just be another name for Skyboxes.
It could be. It could be a trade out name for that. Jack says, didn't Morris go for 1 million? Is he referring to Carlton Morris?
I think so, yeah. Luton had to sell him because they got relegated.
I think they did. I think he did go cheap, and he was a fantastic signing for him. Obviously got injured a little bit earlier in this season, and Adjumang's had to step into his shoes, which he has done fantastically well. For about 7 months of the year, the sea is full of jellyfish. Take your word for it, mate. It wouldn't surprise me.
I've been told as well to avoid the sea because there were like 3 people that either got critically injured or died recently from shark attacks in Australia. So it's not great timing for Jaws either.
No, it's not. Well, Jack's saying watch Jaws on your phone in the sea. I don't know if maybe Jamie is planning on a boat trip at some point, Jack, but I would recommend probably not watching that while you're in the water either. Billy used to leave a mark in the wall. Watch Jamie Hoyland's Under the Cosh when he talks over Billy Whitehurst. Told the pigs, "Your best two." And our best two. I'll look out for that, James. Not familiar with that one, but I have watched Under the Cosh before, so I'll check that out. Thank you.
That just sort of reminds me of. Have you ever seen Mike Bassett, England manager?
I have. It's one of my favourite comedies of all time. It's fantastic.
That just sounds like Wacko when he's in the dressing room and says, "Let's have him," punches the wall and walks out.
I'm sure he's based on players much like Billy Whitehurst, definitely. And Harry, I love my magic stick. I do hope you're referring to some sort of device that you can stream games on, Harry. That's all I can say.
Just kicked off, by the way, for the second half. If anyone is wanting to keep up with us, sort of getting live for the timer, I think I'm like a second ahead of Lewis at most, but I'm on 45 minutes and 14, 15, 16, 17. And it's just gone back to Sanderson after the goal kick.
Well, on that note, mate, what I'm going to do is I really need a comfort break, if I'm completely honest. So I'm going to do a man mountain and disappear for one. Can you take commentary for me for just a moment and keep the masses entertained? I will be back in a tick.
Right, it's just me you've got now. We'll try and keep you entertained. It's just looking like Bristol City trying to get a bit of a quick start just to try and get that 1 goal back. They're building well here. I can't remember. They made a few changes half time that just trying to build it. It might be Armstrong that's come on, but again, Derby are playing counters again. They've just been fouled though. Bruce has been fouled just sort of in the middle of the pitch. They've played on here. I thought ref had blown whistle, but clearly not. But they are going on from here, just trying to calm that game down because Bristol City get one back here within the first 10 or so minutes, it's going to be game on here. But again, Derby are looking comfortable. They've just played it long. I'm not sure who in behind to, but it's gone back to the goalkeeper, not inside his own box, but he's just played out himself for a goal kick. So Derby are going to have to be really careful this first 10 or so minutes just to keep the game under control while especially Bristol City's substitutions have come onto the pitch and there'll be fresh legs to keep them going. It looks like they've changed formation because they've either gone to 4 at the back or they've just got more wingers on the pitch. I'm not too sure. I need a bit out there. But I'll get up who these substitutions are. If you just give me 1 second, I'll have it up for you. Obviously, it's just 1 substitution here. They've taken off Sam Bell for Sinclair Armstrong. So potentially they've gone for a front 2 now, where obviously Armstrong is striker and Sam Bell is attacking midfielder. So they've potentially gone for a 3-5-2 or 5-3-2. Well, it'll be more of a 3 because they've gone for they're going to go for it. But I'll be interested to see how Emile Rees and Armstrong do link up. Because with Armstrong, even though he's quick, he is fast. So it's not sort of a big man, little man either. With Emile Rees being quite a big bloke. But again, I think Sam Morsey, he might be warming up here. So I'll be going to see how he affects the game. Obviously, he left Ipswich in the summer. I think he went to Saudi or one of them countries, terminated his contract. Bruce on left-hand side here, cuts in. Oh my God, skied it. It's out for a goal kick. That's more the real Bruce I'm looking used to seeing. Welcome back, Lewis.
Thank you, mate. Is it 5-0? That's probably what happens when I take a comfort break.
Nope. Bruce had just skied one. Sort of the opposite. But the substitutions, Bristol City, where Sam Bell came off and got replaced by Sinclair Armstrong. So it's looking like they're going for a front 2, maybe a 3-5-2. I'm not too sure, to be honest. But if they still keep that 3 back formation, which I think they will be doing, but I'll be interested to see how this lays out. I was just saying as well that the first 10 minutes are going to be crucial just to calm Bristol City down because they'll go hell for them with it. But again, Derby keeping things under control.
Well, thank you for holding up the fort, mate. And as you say, they brought Armstrong on. I think that would indicate that, yes, two up top, and probably means they're going to go a bit more direct. They're going to try and play some more direct balls forward and really stick it on Derby at this point, which is probably what they have to do. You know, if they get caught too high up in possession, trying to play a bit of keep ball, that could be the worst possible thing for them. But they've got two physical strikers up there now.
So it looks like, that Bruce has just nicked the ball off of me. Looks like Emil Reese has dropped into one of the attacking midfielder roles. So bit of a interesting experiment. Derby, you're playing here.
Agamang on the turn.
Sorry.
And Bruce did it really well there. So he nicked the ball back out wide, managed to keep the ball in play, and was in a position to receive a pass again after that. And that's where the attack stemmed from, really. Agamang on the turn there nearly gets a shot away, but in the end, well defended enough from Dickey.
It looked like it did keep. No, it's not in the hand of anyone. Yeah, a few claims for handball, but just nowhere near him. I think it's hit him inside the body. But again, I think that's the Ozo that's turned him. Ajimang.
It hits the underside of his arm, but I think his arm is in a relatively natural position, so I don't think any official's going to award a penalty there. I think it would be pretty harsh. And Derby now just trying to mop up Bristol City on the attack. They've got the ball on the right-hand side. And
Armstrong did make a run there just before they got it out wide, and he did sort of look to bring everyone into it. So it could be a good substitution. And he's a good player as well. And it's hard to knock him off the ball. I remember when he played his last season, he just sprinted in behind everyone who got penalties. So again, it can make them sort of darting runs in. But it is interesting the fact they've kept with the same formation, but Emil Reese has gone into the attacking midfielder role.
He seems to have, doesn't he? And that Bristol City system, and it may be because they're chasing the game and they're throwing bodies forward, but it does seem very fluid at times. I mean, George Tanner, who's playing as a defender in this game, seems to be quite advanced and further forward than Randall at times, who's playing as a central midfielder. It's almost like wide centre backs. You remember those? Remember the glory days of Chris Wilder Mark 1? Almost seems a little like that at times. Yeah.
Prime Jack O'Connell and Chris Basham. That was some team. That was my first time as well supporting United. So it's safe to say I had a good start with us, and it's not gone as down as other people have experienced before, but it's certainly not going to get to them levels.
That will have set unrealistic expectations for you, because I've got to say that was the best period of my entire life supporting Sheffield United. At the moment, I would say what we're doing right now is mediocre, somewhere in the middle. I've seen it a lot worse. There are, and look, you can't help when you're born. You can't help what you've grown up with and what you're used to. But some younger supporters sometimes think that this current situation is terrible. You should have been here pre-Wilder, and you should have been here in the early 80s.
I know how bad it was. I'm thanking the lucky stars where we are at minute. Just saying, I take Championship football currently. Just get it settled and like a parachute team. Bobby Clark in behind it.
He is.
When it's just offside.
Oh, it just gets caught under his feet as well. But like you say, the linesman's put his the assistant ref, actually they're referred to now. I always call him a linesman. Puts his flag up. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, he was miles off there, wasn't he, on the replay? But he gets the ball caught under his feet anyway, so I think the chance was gone.
Again, the same move though from Derby and Bristol City just are not adapting. I'm not sure who's coming on here, number 29. I don't know Derby too well, unfortunately, apart from the odd few players. But again, the same move, and they're just not coping with it at all. But they are. Derby, again, they're putting the press on when it gets sort of into that middle section of the pitch, and they're nicking the ball off them. They're being quite sloppy with it. They are coming in here. Again, everyone's trying to make a few darting runs in behind. Nicked off Bristol City again. Thought it might be a foul, but again, Derby come on here. Diaz again. Has anyone been fouled? Can't hear ref's whistle, but yeah, Diaz got fouled. Didn't hear the whistle, but again, Paul from Bristol City.
It looks like Derby are looking to shore things up in the middle, because 29 is Oscar Fraulo as a Danish central midfielder. I think I remember him coming off the bench, or certainly took part in the game last week as well. So it looks like they're going to try and firm things up through the middle and try and stifle Bristol City. They've got Bristol City where they want them at the moment. That's the thing. They're 3-0 up. They can afford to sit back and hit them on the break.
Travis does seem to be struggling a bit. It looked like he was just feeling something there. It might be calves and it might be a bit of cramp, but yeah, he just felt something there. They'll probably not want to risk it with him being the captain.
Yeah. Could be a like-for-like replacement then, could be an enforced change. Let me see, just while the ball is deep in the Bristol City half and they've got possession, see if I can catch up on some comments. We've got Darren with, true story, I was swimming last year off the coast of Cape Cod and beach 2 miles up was closed, but because a great white had been spotted there. I last knew about it, but it must have slipped her mind. Interesting.
Wow. Paul from Bristol City, by the way, they've just played it long. He's straight out for a goal kick.
And Paul Young says, as a Blader, stop watching Under the Cosh. After they had that piece of filth on the and let him lie through his. Oh, so right. So regarding the Gareth Ainsworth thing, yeah. Do you know what, Paul? I've done the Gareth Ainsworth Dame Whitehouse thing, assuming that's what it refers to. I've done it to death in real life. To be honest, I was there. I was a kid. I remember it. Not a favourite of Bramall Lane, as we all know. Nils Zatterstrom is on the bench again tonight for Genoa. Interesting. I wonder if he's actually made an appearance for them yet. He's not been there long, has he?
He played appearance. He came on in the 90th minute. So, captivating appearance from him.
Okay, so sparkling cameo from Nils. It's a shame, really, because I met him recently on a little thing I did on behalf of Rich Carrington. Met a few of the players, and Nils was there, and he's a really nice lad. He's a quiet lad, and looking at him, he's got good stature. Do you know what I mean? Looks big and athletic. I've seen some YouTube footage of him playing, which is always the worst possible place to look for players and scout them. But he does look like somebody that has a little bit about him. So it's a shame, really, that, look, he might come back because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, Genoa have just got an option on him, haven't they? They haven't got an obligation to buy him. So
it's $5.5 million, but if they do sell, we're making profits, so you can't really complain. Just a few things, by the way, on what you said. You're totally dropping the fact you met players because of Rich Carrington. Obviously, it were a good thing you did for the hospitals.
Yeah. Oh, you dropped out a little bit there.
No, you're saying for the hospitals that you were able to meet some of the players.
Yeah, so I was at Western Park visiting some of the patients with the club. Which was a great experience, and I was really proud to do it. Obviously, because it was with my football club, our football club. It's a cause, cancer treatment and everything that Western Park do. It's a cause close to my heart because I lost someone very close to me. About 3 years ago now. It doesn't seem like 5 minutes ago. I was really proud to do it, and to do it with the players and meet Chris Wilder and some of the players was fantastic. So I've got Rich Carrington to thank for that, for a lifelong memorable experience. As I say, I met Nils, and seemed like a really good kid. It's just a shame that he didn't really get an opportunity for us, but hopefully carve out a good career for himself, either back with us or in Serie A at some point. If we can get $5.5 million though for a player that's not played for us, I think we've done pretty well. Darren says, Jamie, watch Denzel Washington in flight. That should settle any nerves you have about the trip.
I've seen it, Dory. I've seen it. It's a great film. And to be fair, that probably would, because if I knew the captain could do that, I'd be cheering.
Well, I'm surprised that no one has mentioned snakes on a plane yet. Have you seen that, Samuel L. Jackson?
I've not seen. I just know the one clip, and it were one of American channels. It went quite viral where they censored it because it were like daytime TV, and they said he's bleeping it. They went, "I'm done with these." What were it now? It were, "I'm done with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane." When he's
very nice, very nicely done. Well done.
Yeah, Monday to Friday, it was just complete dubbing of Sam Jackson when he's going off on one.
I think there's a hilarious bit in it that if it's the same film, and I'm pretty sure it is, my missus always laughs at one where they're looking for something to fight the snakes with, I think, or something like that. And one of the flight attendants holds out cutlery, and Samuel L. Jackson went, "Sporks?" Sport, really. And it's just like there's comedy in it as well. But it's definitely not one to watch if you're going to go on a plane. So it looks like Derby making a substitution now. Let's actually comment on the game, shall we? Travis is going off. You're right, mate. So he did look like he was struggling, as you say. And it's Oscar Fraulo, the Danish midfielder, that comes on to replace him. So yeah, like for like change. Just while they're doing that, Borges on for Sykes also. Thank you, Dave. Someone else that's
missed that.
Someone else is watching the game more than we are. It's a classic watch along this. Adkins pre-Wilder, yes, yeah, absolutely.
In fairness, on the Borges substitution, that were at half time. It's just FotMob's only just showing it now. I thought there were 2 subs. I just couldn't see it because FotMob hadn't updated it. So thank you, FotMob. You've ruined my day.
You've ruined Jamie's day. And Dave Blademan is here to back us up as well. He's here to catch us when we fall. So thank you, mate. James says Adkins pre-Wilder. Yeah, that was pretty horrific, mate. And you know what? I had high hopes for Nigel Adkins after the job he did at Southampton. He did a terrific job at Southampton. They were quite a good side, and I felt he was harshly sacked as well. They were 4th bottom in the Premier League after promotion. They were doing all right, not great, and they removed him. And when he came to us, he came with a bit of a reputation. I thought, that might be a good appointment, but it was a bit of a car crash. It has to be said.
He's sort of mental to think. The managers I've seen watch United have been in order: Wilder, Eki, Slav, Heki, Wilder, Sellers, Wilder. You've got about 4 people in there and about 8 changes.
That is a very Wilder heavy Sheffield United supporting CV. I mean, in your life, he's managed us 3 times, and probably predominantly has been the manager for most of those years. It just goes to show. But Chrissy Wilder, we'll never shake him off. I hope we won't. What's that, mate?
No, I was going to say it looks like Bergzorg, the new man's been going to be brought on probably for Scott Twine, the Japan team, after Bergzorg got shown, and he looked knackered, Scott Twine as well. Yeah,
and this is the thing as well. You know, these teams that carry. I mean, obviously they've added some players to their ranks recently, but these teams that have smaller squads that have less of an opportunity to rotate and change things out on. Your 3 game weeks, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, they struggle and they pick up, injuries, tired legs, muscle strains and things like that. And it's tougher for those teams. I don't think, although we're not having a great season, I don't think we've rarely been in that position. We've always had a good number of players in our squad to be able to rotate to some extent.
Yeah.
For clubs like Bristol City and Preston, just a name I'm plucking out the air. A lot more difficult. They run with smaller squads. Jack says Nils would be a good signing if we had time.
Yes.
Oh, if he had time. I think you mean. Yeah, maybe, mate. But I suppose the thing for me, and I'll get your opinion on this as well, Jamie. We're not currently, and are often not going to be in a position to allow development players to develop, because we always need to win.
Derby coming in here, by the way. Adjamang cutting in, left-hand side, it's wide.
Left-foot shot, and it's wide, yeah. Yeah, good break. And that's what Derby are going to do now. They're going to play on the break. They're going to sit in a mid-block, deep if they have to. And they don't need to chase the game. And, so just going back to that point, I think... development players, it's all well and good, but I think for a club like Sheffield United, they've got to develop quickly. When they and certainly do enough to gain an opportunity. Just breaking away a moment, as Delano Bergzorg is the man to replace Scott Twine. So they bring on a new signing, a player we know very well from played for Middlesbrough and Huddersfield, who I think could make an impact for Bristol City. He is a good player. I quite like him. I think he's got a bit of a presence, can play a couple of positions. I think he'll be a threat for him at the top of the pitch. But development players, as I say, I'll go back to that. I think we haven't got time to wait for players. We're always generally in a position where we're generally in the Championship, trying to get into the Premier League, and we need to win now. And that's the challenge. That's the difficult thing. I think if you're a Brighton, for instance, or a Brentford, and you've gained a solid footing in the Premier League, and you've got a solid 14, 15 players that you can kind of rotate between and win enough games in the Premier League to stay there, and then have development players behind that you can drip feed into the team and send out on loan. I think they're the clubs that can really look to develop younger players and bring them on slowly. I don't think at the moment we're in that luxurious position. For us, you need an Illiman and Die, someone that appears out of nowhere, a young player that develops really quickly because he's got all the tools and he learns fast. I don't know what you think on that subject, Jamie.
I think so. The last player we've had to do that is probably City Peck, just because of an injury crisis. So you sort of need one of them where the players are forced into it, just see how they do covering in the deep end. But again, I think when Jack says about having time, it's sort of where we may be in a comfy position where we can allow a few games, where we can trial out some players. But someone like Ryan One last season, it's like, again, going back to the injury crisis, when he had, I think, a one striker and Ryan Brewster fit, Ryan One was the only other option. So it forced us to try him out. I mean, when we played Bristol City or Ashton Gate in the league phase last season, we had, who did we have? It were Ty Campbell, Keith Moore, and One on the bench. Now, we brought Ty Campbell off, brought on Keith Moore, and then Keith Moore had to come off because he got injured. And we brought on Ryan One, and he scored. So it's one of them things where you're not going to get many chances as a youth player, especially at a club like us, but you just got to take them by the scruff of the neck if you do get them. And unfortunately, some of the players like Zatstrom for us just never going to get a chance, especially when he's got 4 centre halves who never get subbed off usually in front of him. And I think the low in Genoa as well, I don't think it's a bad level. Bruce, Adjumang again.
And he's 4-0.
Sorry, I will go on a rant. It's a great ball, I think, by Brereton Diaz. Adjumang just seems to stay in the air for so long, and he gets it in. And apologies for thinking it was Bruce. It was a bit of a panic call there, but yeah, Adjumang. Used to seeing Bruce in number 7. No, it's Adjumang.
I was looking to see if there was a flag there, so it's Adjumang with a header.
Yeah, he's plenty off time. Loads are leaving the stadium now. That I think there were quite a few boos when Bristol City played one of the long balls in. But yeah, it's just showing the replay now. Just again, they've got plenty of bodies back, but it's poor defending again. So who played the ball in behind it? It doesn't show, but Adjumang just seems to be the defender. Again, poor defending. Whoever's right back, I think that's who's whipped in the ball. But Adjumang, great header. And it's a massive leap as well, just to be seemingly the smallest defender in the world.
Yeah, he really rises above him there, doesn't he? He's got no chance of defender. And Vitek's got no chance of saving it as well. It's well guided. It's got some power on it. And Derby find themselves 4-0 up. What a performance from Derby County. Fantastic. And Adjumang on the score sheet.
Go on, mate.
No, I say Adjumang on the score sheet again. 9 goals in the Championship this season. Had a real impact since coming into cover for Carlton Morris. But sorry, mate, you were saying?
No, I can't even remember what I was going to say, to be fair. But that is now all of the front four that have got a goal. It just shows how good that front four is. But away from home, they're a different team. I just do not understand how they're not able to replicate even slightly with the home advantage. Well, home disadvantage, you'd say, for Derby. But this is, we said that, there may be a few goals tonight. We said that from the beginning, but just did not expect this. I mean, 11 clean sheets, and this is the defender. It's been so poor from Bristol City tonight. But again, all credit to Derby. They've done really well. You see, like Bobby Clark, who's playing in the 10, he's just completely tracked back to help them out. And again, they go on the counter for another time, and they've got 2 bodies back. So even though they've got to commit bodies forward, Bristol City, they're going to get caught out, and it could potentially leave them exposed again. So they're just leaving themselves in a gaping hole where there's no real answer how to get out apart from learn how to defend.
Well, it's a real industrious performance from Derby, and we saw after that 4th goal, the Bristol City fans leaving in their hordes. They don't want to see any more of this. We're only in the 69th minute of the game as they try to work the ball into the box, but Derby deal with it. It's been a real bad night for Bristol City, and you've just got to hope that from their point of view, it's damage limitation now. Maybe try and nick a goal and make the score more respectable. Just nipping back into the comments, Jack says, I also lost someone close to me. Sorry to hear that, mate. I'm running a 10K in Manchester for cancer research. Good man. It's a great cause. And I've run a few 10Ks myself, mate, and it's not easy. It's not easy to train for it. So the fact that you're doing that is great commitment. So well done, mate.
Jack, if you've got a link for a donation page, send us a link or put it in Platinum chat. I'll see what I can sort out, and I imagine a few people might join in as well.
Yeah, well said, Jamie. And I'll certainly contribute as well, Jack. If you want to do that, I'm happy to get involved in that and help you out. Ray said, I think we ought to put in a cheeky bid for Brewster. Yeah, that would be very cheeky, and that is a cheeky comment, Ray. You know what you're doing with that, mate. You're properly on the wind up there. Although I got to say, after his performance tonight, worked very hard, got himself on the score sheet. I wouldn't say no. This
is the same Ryan Brewster we saw though when he picked up form. They're just making a sub here as well, Derby. I think doing double substitution. Brewster actually coming off now. He's had a blinder tonight, and him and Adjumang, their link up is brilliant. They'll just completely just keep rotating, but he's had an absolute blinder tonight, and it's the same Ryan Brewster we saw towards back in the last season. That is the play we could have had if we got them wages sorted, getting them down. It's a good player to have, and he would have been probably starting for us this season.
Yeah, well, at this point, he'd probably get a few more opportunities as well, especially at a time where we were struggling at the top of the pitch before Pat came in. And, we needed, because, Ryan often plays off the flanks, but he can play as the furthest man forward as well. We've seen him do it before, and certainly prior to his time at Sheffield United as well when he was a young player. So yeah, I agree, mate. I think it would be more useful for us at this point, having had fewer options available at certain times and in-form options as well. Darren tells us, just before I say that, Bristol City have a chance and Sinclair Armstrong turns an effort wide from a cross. Just not their night.
The substitutions, by the way, it's Adjumang and Brewster both coming off to that link up. Adjumang didn't even look that happy to come off. But with the way he's playing, I don't blame him, get a few tonight. But they're replaced by Lars Jorgen Salvinson, easy to say, and Jaden Bannell, who I myself reported on Ramble FC, I think it was yesterday, on one from Burnley. Trying to get a few minutes in him because he's not had many chances since the time from Ajax. There you go, a bit of knowledge.
Yeah, so just to remind the Platinum Ramblers as well, if you do want to provide Jimmy with any transfer update videos, so just film yourself giving a transfer update of something that's happened in the window, that will make its way onto the Ramble FC YouTube page, and you can get your face and your name up in lights for a moment or so. You get some really good views. It helps the channel. That's why I do it. I've done so many of them in this transfer window, just to try and help the channel and get more eyes on it, and it seems to work really well. And then Jamie, as he mentions, has done one. It was today? It was this morning, wasn't it? You put that one out.
No, it was like 4 a.m. last night. I just saw it pop up on my phone. I was awake. I thought, sod it, let's do it. It didn't go through fully until the next morning for Jimmy because I imagine he wasn't checking his phone. I did have a look at the views though. I just found it funny. I don't really care too much about views. I just found it funny. It was like 300, 800, 400, mile, like 55. I just found it quite funny.
We've got a two-man transfer update team, so 2 men wearing the yellow tie. If any other Platinum Ramblers want to get involved, you are more than welcome. We don't own it. We're happy for everybody else to get involved. If anything, it takes pressure off us and it helps Jim and it helps the channel. So go for it, get it out there. Darren says Martin Peters was another great manager for us, and his first game in charge was a great 3-0 away win that ended in relegation to the 4th division. Yeah, it didn't go well for Martin Peters, did it? And the only time Sheffield United have found themselves in the bottom flight, as it looks like a Derby player going off with an injury. Jamie, I don't know if you caught it. It looks like Elder, the left back, struggling a little bit. Sam Morsey about to take the field for Bristol City as well, a player that we all know quite well. Of Ipswich fame more recently, but also for other clubs. He
left Ipswich in the summer, went to, I think it was either Saudi, Qatar, one of them countries, but they terminated his contract. I don't know what for, but yeah, Bristol City now picked up, and he's replaced Adam Randall, who, to be fair, Randall's not had a bad game either. I was going to I knew it was number 4 that were playing well. I just didn't know their name, so now I do.
I like Adam Randall. I saw him score a cracking goal against Portsmouth over the Christmas period. In fact, it was a day where I did a watch-along for a Sheffield United game with Man Mountain, and I was watching Bristol City in the earlier game against Pompey, and he scored an absolute banger on the volley. So he's a decent player, but he's not like the rest of his teammates. He's not had a good night tonight, and yeah, I think this will be a real blow for Bristol City because they've been busy in the market. They've brought players in to bolster the squad and add a bit of depth, and a team in and around them that are also looking to try and get into those playoffs have come to Ashton Gate and done a job on them tonight. Unfortunately for them,
it's a great first impression for those new Bristol City signings. It's not like you've absolutely been tonked 4-0.
Well, I mean, they were all on the bench as well at the start of the evening, so maybe they would see this as now, okay, we've got an opportunity to come into this team because this has been a bad night for them. You know, Struber might look to rotate them in for the next game and breathe a little bit of fresh life into the next performance. Darren says, sorry, Harry Haslam was in charge at the start of the season. Peters took over. Yes. Well done, mate. Before my time, but definitely during my dad's era. So yeah, you are correct with that. From what I've been told. Paul says it's all about Cat 1. We need that so desperately. Have you heard any more on the Cat 1 Academy, Jamie? I know it's something that's kind of ongoing and floating around. Has it moved forward at all? I don't really. I watch the team stuff mainly.
I've got to be careful what I say because I don't know whether it's been told me in confidence, but from the sounds of it, they've got other things. They're just trying to get other things as priority. It'll probably be something to pick up if we get back. Well, I say when we get back to Premier League or we get a bit of extra cash lying around, that'll probably be something that we hear a bit more about. Because if you think about it, what we're going to be focusing on in a minute, it's going to be transfers. You want to put all into it. Cat 1's more of a long-term plan. So I think get the immediate situation sorted out and then get Cat 1 in. I know that everyone's quite keen to do it. And you look at our academy and some of the things we've turned out with Cat 2, but we do need immediate players ready to go rather than academy players. And the academy is still churning out good players. So I think with that, just leave them to it. And then when we do have the chance to have a bit of extra cash or we can start to look at it a bit more, I think that's probably when we'll hear about it a bit more.
Yeah, I think so. I think we need to get into that luxurious position of the big revenue streams before a number of things will happen, including that. Jamie, do you want to take this the next few? Take this one from Jack.
Yeah, so you caught me at a bad time. I've been having drumsticks squashing them, so very nice, by the way. Jack said, I agree, and I think we should be focusing on developing our lads from the academy. Yeah, it's a focus, and we need to get some of these players, like the rest of the AI signings, out on loan. More the better. Look at Louis Marsh, stuck in the academy, didn't progress. David Morwood says, what a ball and what header. Yeah, great header. Darren Key, 4-0. James says, bet that Bristol's biggest home defeat since we won there in the playoffs. You would have thought so. They've played well, Bristol City, Low, since since the start of this season. So I don't remember hearing about them getting hammered.
No, I don't think they have. I'm trying to think back if anyone's really turned them over. They've had a few defeats, obviously. They've kind of been floating around in the top half, mid-table, so they can blow a bit hot and cold. But yeah, no, I don't remember them having such a bad defeat as this. It looks like Derby making some subs again now. Eames has come off the bench and Andy Vyman, and they replace Bobby Clark and Ben Brereton Diaz. So Derby just going to get some fresh legs on and close this out, I think. Maury comes in with, I'll defo sponsor you, pal. I think he's referring to Jack there. Talmate will do. Yeah, so Jack, that's in reference to Jack.
So, to answer the question about getting hammered, I can see the last time they seemed to get hammered was when they played Stoke away. They lost 5-1 in the end.
Yes,
that was before when Stoke were flying, and then obviously they came to Bramall Lane and lost it all.
Yes, yeah, Stoke got turned over at Bramall Lane, but equally, it was Bristol City, the first game of the season, wasn't it, at Bramall Lane, that broke my heart when we just weren't ready for them, and we all know why. We won't go into that anymore because we've done it to death. Ian says, I knew he'd come good when he got the confidence back in his body. So Ian's referring to Brewster there. And obviously Ian is a big advocate of Ryan Brewster, and he's proving you right tonight, mate. Excellent performance before he went off. Derby fans seem happy, said Dave Morwood. Yeah, I bet they are, mate.
Why?
Yeah, Mr. V said, this is why I love the Championship. Anyone can do what Derby's done tonight in any given game. That's why I refuse to say we're not making the playoffs until it's mathematically impossible. Come on, you Blades. I hope so, mate. I'm not holding my breath, but I hope you're right. And yeah, it is. It's a crazy league. Anything can happen.
Lewis, do you think we can still get playoffs? But don't think with your heart, think with your head. Do you think we're more likely to get them? No?
No. I think I've predicted for a while that we will finish just outside them. I think we'll finish 8th, 9th. I think we'll get close. I think we're running out of games, mate. I think that's the problem. I think we all right. I spoke to Man Mountain about this the other day, and he said, "Oh, we got loads of games left. We have. But I look at that top 5, and yes, things can change, and teams can suddenly go out of form. But they've created a little gap now to 6th."
Yeah.
And the middle clutch above us are, yes, inconsistent. We can catch up with them. But I think we've got a hell of a lot of work to do. And it's not just that. I don't think we are knitting together. You know, we need to, at this point, win 7-8 in a row to get back in contention. And we've got players missing through suspension and little injury issues, or players trying to come back from long-term injuries like Arblaster. And I think it's a big ask. It's not impossible. But I think if we did it, I will say this. This is my hot take for the evening. If we did it, it would be up there with Chris Wilder's greatest achievements as a manager. It would be remarkable if he got us into the playoffs from where we are. It's not impossible, but it would arguably be the best thing he's ever done. You know, just the start we had and where we are at the minute. I do think we've got a great chance next season, though, Jamie. I think we've got a great chance next season.
Well, it's a case of, because you've heard bits about the owners are potentially going to go for it. You've seen them taking out loans and all that. But it's just a worry of, will they trust Wilder? And I think they're more likely to do it now than they would have done before, just because Wilder can now go, you tried this, it clearly failed. Look what happened when you, not only before I went, but after I come back. Trust me. So he can now go, like, let's have it. I've got the proof. I've got the backing from the fans, everyone around me, the players. It's just you boys that have got the problem. I think with James Board, probably, I'm guessing anyway, because of the type of bloke he is as well, he'll probably led the Wilder Out Brigade, and he's now not part of the board. And when you listen to Steve Betts' Radio Sheffield interview, which yours truly was the only caller on, thanks very much, but you could tell that he was strongly against the decision.
Yeah, you could, and I expected that as well, because I knew he was always a great ally of Chris Wilder. Just before I get back to the game in a minute, what do you think? Do you think it's still there? Do you think we can still do it? Because I've got my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily right.
No.
Do you think we'll do it?
I'm saying like you. I think we're going to run out of games to do it on. I hope I'm wrong fully. Like, I hope I'm very wrong on this and that we do get it. I just think if we had 5 or 10 more games, I think we could do it. But I think that top 5, I know we've got a brilliant home record at the minute, but the away form is too inconsistent. And 2, your team. So you got Coventry, Middlesbrough, and Ipswich. That's you basically all but guaranteed top 3. Hull are flying, and Millwall are really good at the minute, and that will probably be the decider for me. If we lose on Saturday, I think that's pretty much me putting nail in coffin. But that doesn't mean I don't think we can have some effect on it, because we've got Coventry and Middlesbrough both at home coming up, and I think we can maybe not for ourselves, but for other teams, we can really complicate things in that playoff and potentially even automatic race. So we'll have some effect on it, just whether it affects us as a team.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're far off the mark there at all, mate. And Bergsorg just works his way inside from the just inside the Derby area, doing what he does best, cutting inside and trying to get a shot off on his right foot just into the side netting. So, I mean, that's the sort of thing that Bergsorg could potentially offer for Bristol City moving forward. He's quite a powerful player. He moves well. He's quite athletic. And he cut inside to get a shot away there, albeit they're 4-0 down, but maybe something that can give him a bit of optimism and hope moving forward. Commenting from J619. I know this commenter, and it might be someone we know, but I don't know why they've removed the handle. They've removed the name part of the handle. I can't tell who anyone is anymore. I really struggle with this.
No. This is a guy that accused of being me. And usually when he comments, it's always someone that I'm pretty sure it's the same guy that always backs me a lot.
Have you been just down on your lap there,
Tom? No. Jesus Christ, Jog scared me. It's in corner, just looking at me. No, I get accused of this being my account, and it's not. But appreciate what you do, mate.
Yeah, great watch along so far, guys. I'm glad we're all getting a lot of goals in this watch along as well. I didn't see the scoreline coming as Bristol. No, I don't think either of us did as well, mate. Normally so solid at home, yes. Traditionally they're pretty strong at home. Looking at Derby's next few fixtures here, mate. Ipswich home, Swansea home, Watford away, Hull away. Some big games coming up there for them. Yeah. It's a tough run.
One thing that did stand out though is 4 of the 6 are at home, and they're not great at home. So that really could throw mix into it when it comes to them trying to get into that playoff position. Bristol City just trying to work in here. Derby are probably slowing down a bit now, but again, they're still going for it, both teams, but they're now going to probably try and just keep the scoreline as is, protect that clean sheet. But they're still going for it. Ozo just trying to make a run in and it just gets pulled down for a foul. He'll take his time with it. They're not going to be keen to get things away again, but they're going to have to play. They're not going to be in they've won it. They've already won it. There's no chance of them losing it, pretty much. But if they're not going to be like saying, "Come on, let's get a fit," well, they might do, but they won't be absolutely desperate for it. As if it's like Benfica, where the other night sending the goalkeeper up for the corner or the free kick, should I say, to get the last minute goal.
Yeah, and Ozo, you mentioned a moment ago there, going down to just slow things down a little bit. I like Ozo. I noticed him quite a bit in the game against West Brom last week. He's a player that he's got good feet. He can kind of work his way out of trouble sometimes, and he's quite smart as well. Knows when to go down and get a free kick. Certainly seems to be effective for Derby in the middle.
Coming in again.
Salverson plays it in, and
it's off the line.
It's off the bar. It's off the underside of the bar.
What a block that were. So I have no idea who's playing the minute for Derby, but whoever it is, just had a shot, cleared offline. It then hit the underside of the crossbar, and it stayed out somehow, and it keeps it at 4-0.
That was incredible block, wasn't it? Turned it onto the underside of the bar from Eames' shot. Really unlucky there for Derby.
Is it George Eames that hit it?
It was Eames that struck had the effort and blocked onto the underside of the bar. Really unlucky there for Derby, but great block from Bristol City. Ray says Derby's number 5 has been brilliant tonight. Yeah, so that's Matty Clark, who's the sort of central centre half for Derby, and Derby come again here. It's a shot, and again it's Eames. Tanner trying to get it away, but he falls to the ground, and now it's back out wide.
Great ball in.
Great ball in on his left peg, and a chance save from Vitek.
Vitek's not even a bad keeper, and yet he's still conceding 4. And it's gone in. It's 5-0.
It's 5-0. It's Salverson for 5-0. They have done a real job on Bristol City.
You what? Sorry.
They've done a real job on Bristol City tonight, Derby.
Demolition job. And well done on pronouncing the striker's name, because I've given up.
Yeah, well, he's got like a 3-barreled name, hasn't he? So I've just gone with Salverson. But yeah, he's on the end of a. I'm just trying to see who puts the cross in. So it's cross from the left. Wonderful ball in. Brought down. I think it's Eames again. Vitek saved.
Whoever's the left back, whatever his name is, I can't remember. But again, another cross in. Great ball. Keeper's missed it. He's had a shocker there.
Yeah, and that's well worked by Derby there. Ball down the right, and it seems again involved. Ball's knocked across, and Salverson just smashing that into an empty net, into the roof of the net. Vitek, no chance again. He's had no protection tonight.
He nearly missed it all. He literally just missed. You understand the crossbar just hit top of the net. But yeah, 5-0.
Yeah,
Derby County.
Really bad night for Bristol City, and what a night for Derby County. Fantastic result for them as we go into we're in the 89th minute of the game now. We're about to go into the final minute of normal time. And your alter ego, apparently. I know we will take 6th place this season. Positive play, positive thinking. You're more positive than me, mate, and I am an anointed positive blade, so you're beating me in those stakes as well. The other teams don't have Chrissy Wilder. If we make 5th, what other team do you think, guys, will make the playoffs?
If we make 5th,
that is ambitious.
Right.
If we make 5th. Who else will make the playoffs? Well, Wrexham are making a strong case for it at the moment, aren't they? Hollywood FC. I don't know. It's tough. I feel good about the top 5, not just because they're in the top 5, but because like Hull and Millwall have been they've been stayers. They've stayed in there, and I think they're resilient and they've got a good mentality. They've got hard-working players. I think they'll stay in the mix, and I think that top 5 are going to be okay. They're going to be in and amongst it. That 6th spot, anyone.
That's the one. Right. It's just 5 minutes out of day. But I think teams like Watford, I think they've got some of the best form in the league. I mean, someone like Norwich could come out of nowhere. That's all what we wanted to do, but they've just gone on to be what we tried to do, where they've picked everything up from where they were, considering who's in charge of Norwich at minute.
Philippe Clement.
He's done a really good job. He's just recovered their season fully. If he can get them into playoffs, that's one of the best jobs I've seen from someone. It's better than what Coventry did, arguably. Just how awful, and I know they've got the players, but how awful Norwich were at the start of this season, where they just completely looked off it. I mean, he's got Anis Samani having an absolute blind day. The guy up front for Norwich at the minute that seemed to be replacing Josh Sargent, which I'm surprised not. Yeah, I'm surprised Sargent's not got moved yet as well, because he'd wanted to go, I think, to MLS to get that World Cup spot, because he ain't getting it at the minute. I'd be more likely to think Adjumang's going to get it, to be honest.
Well, I think Norwich got McCarmer for something like I might need to be fact checked here, but I think it was something like 1.4 million from Lincoln. He was some signing. He's a right handful for defenders to deal with, and he's a great replacement for Sargent if he does go. Got a comment here from Maury as well. Hello, mate. Defo, no, I think we will finish 12th to 15th. So Maury's not feeling it at all. I think we'll finish higher than that, Maury. I think we'll finish in the top half. I think we won't be that far off the playoffs, as we've said. Though I think we'll just be a little bit too late to the party. Bristol City now with the ball on the right hand side, really looking to just try and just grab a consolation, any sort of anything to cheer at the end of this game, because it's been a miserable night for them. But Derby just holding firm now, standing in to keep that clean.
Just on Sam as well. I had a look at him the other day. He's never had a proper goal-scoring record where you think, he can be a 20-goal season striker. Even in his Lincoln days, he was never about getting the goals. So it's just surprising that he's just come out of nowhere this season and has been so clinical. Ryan Bruce has just been announced as player of the match, and it's fully deserved for me.
Ian will be delighted. Ian, your boy is man of the match, and deservedly so as well. I thought he was excellent. Obviously he was subbed off, saving his legs for the next game, and why wouldn't they in the position they're in? But he was excellent tonight, and he really put in a shift. So I have to say I was very impressed with his performance. I wish we'd have seen it more often in a red and white shirt. Our friend Tom, or Thom, as our mate Jimmy refers to him as. Evening, gents. Taking full responsibility for Derby playing well tonight, as they were drinking from the same bar as me last night. Yes, they were. So Thom, or our mate Tom, was in Bristol this week for work, and I was going to go and meet him, and unfortunately, because of some family affairs, I couldn't. But I was going to go and meet him for a drink at a hotel that he and his colleagues were being entertained at. And apparently the whole of the Derby team were there as well. staying overnight. So I told him go and grab a photo with Brewster and Brereton Diaz, and another shot from Derby, well over the bar late in the game. Bristol City.
I think I've managed. I accidentally clicked off of my Now TV stream of the match. I accidentally did because TV were going to go off. I think it's just brought it back, so we're actually in line now.
I think we are, yeah. And I'm just looking at John Eustace, looking quite stern, actually, considering the 5-0 up. He's not looking that delighted about it, is he? Maybe he's trying to keep their feet on the ground. Darren says, if we hadn't thrown away 6 points at PNE and Wrexham and at least a point at West Brom and Charlton before sending offs, I'd say we've blown too many games. I'd start rebuild for next season. Now, yeah, I think I agree, Darren. I think it was Man Mountain I was speaking to about this, where we both felt that the Charlton games were pivotal for us in the wrong way. That the Charlton games, home and away, were games that we should have won. We should have won both of them, and we lost both of them. It was a 6-point swing, and you imagine where we would be now with that 6 points. We'd be a lot closer to those playoffs, and we really would be feeling like we're in with a chance. And it just shows you only need a couple of bad results, and it can make all the difference. The point swing can make a massive difference to you, especially when you're chasing it like we were. Just got a few.
You know what a wise man once said: if my grandma had wheels, she'd have been a bike. If buts and maybes.
That's right, mate. That's it. It's about doing it, isn't it? It's not about what you could have done. The old bullseye thing is what you could have won. Well, you didn't win it, did you? That's the thing. You got to get it done. Ray says,
by the way,
what's that?
Full time. Bristol City.
Thank you for keeping an eye on the game again. Yeah. So full time. So it finishes. Oh, here we go. I've committed the cardinal sin again.
Oh,
James.
no.
What I didn't do, because I was too busy reading comments and having a good natter with you, is put the correct score on. So we now have a full-time score of Bristol City 0, Derby County 5, and very well deserved from Derby County. I have to say they were excellent, and Bristol City just weren't at the races. A story of both, to be honest. But Ray says, yes, great. Watch along, lads. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too, mate. I always enjoy Jamie's company, and we've had a great game to watch as well. Certainly a fantastic performance from the away team. Mr. V says, is there a fire drill? Is there a fire drill? I think there was at 4-0. I noticed that there was something going off, Mr. V. So, very observant. Great job, lads. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Thanks for doing it. And Ian, thanks to you and everybody else for being in the comments as well. Really appreciate it. The support is important. We really appreciate everyone coming along to watch and comment. And it makes it worthwhile. It makes it worth giving up the time to do it. Sheila's Wheel says, great watch along, lads. Nice to get a similar result tomorrow. Would settle for 1-0. I'll tell you what, Sheila, if we go to Millwall and win 1-0, I'll be doing cartwheels, I tell you. Even though I don't think we'll make the playoffs, I'd be delighted with that. Great watch along, Lewis and Jamie. Well done. How is Jamie presenting and posting on his second account at the same time?
I knew it.
Even I'm not convinced, Jim, that he hasn't been doing that. I can't see, I could only see my fake, the other part of my arm in his dad's house. I can't see what's going on below that microphone. He might have a laptop in front of him for all I know. Brilliant, this lads. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, mate. Do you want to take a few of these?
Yeah, go ahead. Ray said Bruce man of match. Yeah, fully agree. Maury, no. Oh, I'm guessing I'm disagreeing with Ray. Oh, wrong chat. Right. Score still said 4-0, by the way. Don't worry, Lewis has changed it.
Slow. But Maury's all over it. Sorry, mate.
Millwall for playoffs. I back it. A good side. Lewis, do you see him getting it?
Millwall for playoffs?
Yeah,
I think so, mate. I think they've got a very good chance. I think they've added Barry Bannon. They made a good signing today. Oh no, they're rumoured to be signing Tommy Watson, aren't they? From Brighton.
Yeah.
On loan. I mean, if they add him, they've added Barry Bannon. I think they're already a very solid, difficult team to beat. I think if they add players like that to the ranks who can make a difference to them going forward as well, I think they've got a really good chance, and I think they're a very difficult opposition for us tomorrow. Just looking at the table, Jamie, I don't know if you want to comment on it. Derby in the playoffs? Does it
Yes, well, you can see there's a 4-point gap between 5th and 6th, so I could potentially see that top 5. Not in the same positional order, but definitely those 5 teams stay as they are. But there's 5 points between 6th and 12th, potentially even more closer gap between the teams below. It's not going to show it, but it's a proper dog race down there. Anyone could have this, but it's going to be really tight for playoffs. I've got to say though, if you are Tanganga, you are livid. You've left Millwall this season. You may have got a pay rise, but it ain't worth it for what you've come to. So, Jaff, apologies.
Apologies, Jaff. Hopefully better times ahead for you, mate, in a red and white shirt. Good stream, lad, says Maury. Thank you, mate. Ian said, who put the ball in the Wednesday net? Rian Joel Brewster. Had you worried for a second, Lou? Yes, you did, mate. Just for a second there, I thought, oh my God, I brought this up again without reading it. I'm not at the level yet, Ian. I'm learning. I'm a development player. I'm much like Ryan One at this point. Well done, lads, says Mr. V. Thank you, mate. Darren on a yellow. Ooh, he's on the verge of the shadow realm, as you called it, Jamie. And what's more, he said here. If Mill go up, I think Jaff will go back. Oh, maybe, mate. It's not a bad shout, actually.
Hey, if they want to pay it, go ahead.
They have to cross our palm with silver, but maybe. Great watch along, lads. Let's see if Jimmy can match you knowledge and professionalism tomorrow. Yeah, Jimmy will say he can't, but Jimmy's in a different league, mate. Yeah. And we're all wannabes by comparison. He'll be shaking his head like this now, saying, "Don't do that." Don't forget, we have a game in hand. We do, Mr. V. We do. Mr. V is the eternal optimist and the ultimate positive blade, alongside my comrades Dave Morwood, Brett, and Russ. All seemingly far more positive than me. I'm really not living up to the bill at the moment. Before we sign off, mate, obviously, as I say, Bristol City 0, Derby County 5 is how it finished. Fantastic result for Derby. Thrust them into the playoffs, at least put some pressure on those teams in and around it to respond tomorrow and put 3 points on the board to leap back above them. But before we sign off, mate, I just wanted to say to you, have a fantastic trip to Australia. I hope you have the time of your life. Now is the time to do it, mate. I did some traveling when I was younger. I probably should have done more. I am locked down now with a family and a job, so I can't do things like that. But I do hope you have the time of your life, and we're all going to be here when you get back. So even if you're in a different time zone and you're finding it difficult to connect or get on watch-alongs and things like that, we can make stuff happen, and we're here when you get back. The Platt chat's going to be really interesting with you being in Australia. I'm going to have to see what the activity's like.
I'll be on Mr. V time zones near enough where it'll just be me and him having one-to-ones in that chat.
Yeah, I think it will be. It'll be just the two of you. Burning the candle well into the night. But Reyes, just a few more comments before we go. Reyes came off injured on Tuesday, so I don't see him being on the move in this window. Interesting, Sam. I don't know what the extent of that injury would be. We'd have to find out. But I know there's speculation about him. Bristol City, who played tonight, another team that's been interested in him. Cheers, guys. Good to meet Mr. D at the lane last week. Oh, so Rodgo says, I'm guessing he means Mr. Dumpling. He means you.
If it's the guy, I'm trying to think, because I had a few people come up to me more than usual. If it's the guy that met me on the stairs that said he knew Jimmy or his brother or something, hello. If it's not you, I apologise.
Top man. And keep safe, Jamie. Meet you again soon, mate, says Maury. Yes, we will. The Dumpling will return. And so will Batman. Batman will return as well for a watch-along. I'm planning to do a couple more for Sheffield United on the Blades Ramble coming up, and possibly one next week as well. So keep your ears and eyes posted for that. Jamie, thank you for joining me, mate. Really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed it. I hope we get to do another one again, while you're in Oz, or maybe when you get back. But yeah, you've been a star as always. So have a great time, mate. And thank you to everyone else for joining us on Ramble FC. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.